Hi, hello. All right, we are back. We are going to be finishing Locked Hearts today. I just realized I didn't change the name of the chant. Let's see, Falling for Papa. I started to put Daddy, and I was like, no, don't do that. All right, so we're going to be playing the rest of Locked Hearts today, and then we are going to do some demos because I have 2 demos already installed. Hi, Blue. And we never got around to playing them last time because Touch Starved was like 4.5 hours, and I'm not used to demos being so long. So we are going to be doing demos today. And if after that it's not crazy late, I might leave, eat dinner, and then come back and play some Jack Gene. I plan on playing Jack Gene next week before Tengoku Struggle comes out because Tengoku doesn't come out till Thursday, and I have like a Tuesday and a Wednesday stream I like to do as well. So we're gonna play Jack Gene next week just to get caught up on it. And then we had all the game announcements, which is also gonna make me cry. There's so many games. Lurking. Asia. Classic Asia. Alright, let's see. I'm cheating. I just have the thing beside me. My wallet is trembling. Whew. So I've already paid off Cupid Parasite. I already paid off Tengoku Struggle. I did that when I got my tax refunds, just so I would feel like I'm good. So those 2 are completely paid off, but I haven't pre-ordered Radiant Tell's fan disc yet, which I might do it from their website just to get the cards. But also money, and then also it might not arrive the same day as the game releases, which is always my fear when I buy something online. So it's kind of like this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which the best choice is. And then Idea Factory has a little event happening in July, which I am going to. I say this with like a question mark. I'm going to it. However, my wallet is sad, but spicy chicken nuggets. That's fair. That's fair. Those are good. However, there's 2 kind of events for the Idea Factory. And one, you get to watch the trailers for the game announcements, and the other one, you can't watch the trailers for the game announcements. And the one that you can watch the trailers was already sold out. I sent in a question asking if I came early, and there was like room, would they be letting people in? So we might even have more. Spicy chicken nuggets, yes. I don't know. I don't know if I like spicy chicken nuggets. I honestly don't get them. I usually just get little McNuggies, and those ones aren't spicy at all. Let's see. So I had made the right choices before, so this is where we're going to start. I have shocked ninja. I love spicy stuff and my body can't tolerate it. I don't like too much spicy stuff, but strangely enough, my favorite ramen is dalbok, which is like the spiciest ramen. My sister can't even eat it, and I love it. I get it every time we go to the store. I'm not sure how to take the fact that you don't like spicy nuggies. To be clear, I haven't had them because I don't get them. I used to eat the McChicken, the spicy McChicken, but I feel like they changed it one day and I didn't like it anymore. You will consult with Yoon. She will probably just agree with me. Just to be clear, we have similar palates when it comes to things like that. Alright, we're gonna talk to Royal today. Did I talk to him already? I have not. Papa Bear? What did I do? I have done something. I have done something wrong. Okay, hang on. I don't know how I went that far back. I ate right before I started, which is always a danger for me because my body just likes for me to cough for 10 minutes after I eat. I also started later than I usually do because I stay up till 3 a.m. And then I went to bed at like 3 a.m. And so I was really sleepy. Why does it keep spinning? Like, my thing is not on for spinning, is it? Okay. Papa Bear. Cringing, Papa Bear muzzle scrunched into a snarl. I tried not to smile, worried he'd get even more defensive. What did you just call me? Papa Bear, like from the children's story. You're the biggest one of the three, so I thought it suited you. Papa Bear furrowed his brow, heavily hinting he didn't share my enthusiasm about the name connection. Stop calling me that. Is the name really that so bad? Imagine meeting someone. Let's ignore the fact that they're teddy bears. Just imagine meeting someone for the very, very first time, and you think it's okay to just give everybody you just met nicknames. They have no idea who you are. I just feel like it'd be a little awkward. Like, I think it's cute and makes you seem less scary, which is kind of hard given the glare on your face. Has anyone ever told you that you talk too much? I tilted my head to the side, noticing Papa Bear's grumpiness morph into exasperation. His sigh had a lot of force behind it. A few people have, but I never cared much about it. Papa Bear gave me another sinister look, and I imagined how traumatized any child would be if they owned such a grumpy teddy bear. I felt bad for them. It's annoying. Just stop talking. Just to show that he wasn't going to get the better of me, I grinned at Papa Bear and spoke in a teasing voice. What a grumpy bear! And here I thought all teddy bears were supposed to be sweet and adorable. Back to her making assumptions here that he's not a teddy bear, he's a boy. Unless there really are talking teddy bears in this game. His anger slowly warped into a grim expression. His ears started to twitch. Don't categorize me with those sweet and adorable ones you speak of. It's not like I chose to be a teddy bear, you know. There was a hint of unhappiness that wasn't connected to anger or exasperation in his profile. His smile faded and I tried to reword my question. I only meant... Before I could finish, Mama Bear calmly approached us, leaving Miss Maria to coolly stare at me. I didn't realize they had finished speaking. I just realized that I can solve this nugget issue. What can you do? Go on, I'm listening. I see that you already are making friends with our guest royal. Oh gosh, DoorDash, no. I already ate today, I'm good. Papa Bear made a face that suggested Soul's observation was misinformed, but he didn't argue the matter. He turned his face away with a huff. That sounded like a threat. I'm not even making an effort to. She's annoying as hell. And you act like a grumpy old man. Will you two stop acting like children for heaven's sakes? I'll be honest with you, girl. You cannot leave this place. Ever. Why not? Is it because of the curse? I fought to stay calm as Miss Maria's words trying to change the subject. Speaking of that, oh, we can skip. I just realized we had this conversation already. Haha. Alright, it says to leave here. We're gonna leave again. And we can skip again. Alright, so for his, it says he has very few choices. Am I not? Oh no, there's more. Plot twist. I didn't scroll far enough down. Alright, we're gonna check out the pebbles this time. Without answering Baby Bear, I started towards the forest again. If you didn't watch the previous ones, they are in a barricade that is trapping them there because they're cursed by like a woman. And if you go past the barrier, you die. And they put pebbles around so that people wouldn't go past the barrier. We found that out in the previous gameplay. So without answering Baby Bear, I started towards the forest again. Wait, where are you going? The worry in his voice was palpable. I glanced over my shoulder to reassure him. Don't worry, I just want to check on something. I carefully made my way over to the pebbles. The warning about the barrier is still fresh in my head. The small stones were uniformly placed around the mansion, the lines too precise to be coincidence. I leaned closer, staring at them. Is this Watch out. A weight hit me on the side just as a glass wall gleamed in front of my eyes. I bumbled. I tumbled onto the ground and looked over just in time to see Papa Bear stumble backwards and knock his arm against the wall. We're over here trying to kill people. Light arched at the contact surrounding the small teddy bear. All at once, the stench of seared wool and burning fabric struck my senses as I watched Papa Bear fall to the ground. Black smoke licked at his arm. Papa Bear! I rushed over to him and saw that a small part of his arm was burnt away, revealing the fluffy foam inside, now singed. Imagine it was flesh, dude. If this was Verche, it would be flesh, and we'd be getting like 3 paragraphs of how it smells and looks. I gasped. If he were human, that foam would have been flesh and blood. I tried searching for that mysterious wall once again, but it was gone as fast as it had appeared. 3 pairs, yes. At least. It seemed to be invisible until you touched it. Before I got lost in my thoughts, I looked down at Papa Bear, reaching out to stroke his head. Papa Bear, are you... Before I could finish my question, Papa Bear reached up and chomped down hard on my forearm. She deserved it. Ow. Idiot. Groaning, Papa Bear stumbled a little as he got to his feet, but soon stood firm, those harsh eyes glaring at me. He pressed his injured arm against his side, and I couldn't help shivering a little at the sight of it. He would have been burnt. Burnt meat if I hadn't pushed... You would have been burnt meat if I hadn't pushed you. What? Huffing, I reached over and squeezed his cheeks. They felt red beneath my fingers. Why? The felt turned red beneath my fingers. I didn't ask you to do that. Swatting at my hands with his uninjured arm, Papa Bear gave me an indignant look as if I were the source of his every irritation. I couldn't imagine making this man angry at me by calling him Papa Bear when he told me not to. By doing something dumb like try to touch a force field. Why would he be mad? This is the thanks I get for saving your life. First off, that was not the response I expected. I stared at Papa Bear and the faint smoke still drifting from his arm. Before I could fret, Baby Bear approached with a jovial laugh. Smooth move, Mr. Knight in shining armor. Our princess here wasn't in any danger at all. The color drained from Papa Bear's face, almost blanching the fabric this time. All of his intentions and adrenaline faded and realization kicked in. What? I bit my lip, fighting off a wave of guilt. The shock in Papa Bear's expression told me he really thought I was in danger. I gestured towards the pebbles. I wasn't planning on leaving anymore. I just wanted to see why the pebbles were lined up like this. I should have done like 3 times of just ... Papa Bear fell to his knees, staring at me with a doomed expression on his teddy bear face. Soon. More pangs of guilt struck my chest. I finished my explanation in a low voice, like my guy. And now I know why. The sound of small feet on grass rustled. I looked over my shoulder and saw Mama Bear and Lily dashing towards us, both wearing expressions of concern. That's the look I made when I found out you were nuggy deprived. Listen, I'm not deprived. I love chicken nuggies, and I eat them all the time. They're just not spicy. It's the only difference. I don't go to Burger King to get nuggies. I go to McDonald's. What's happening here? What happened here? Royal, your arm! Gasping, Lily pressed her hand over her mouth before looking down at the grass. Papa Bear huffed and glared sulkingly in the opposite direction. McNuggies at McDonald's are spicy? I don't believe you. That's a lie. You're making things up. McDonald's spicy nuggies. Bring them back. I haven't had spicy McNuggies before. This is nothing. Wearing a broad grin, Baby Bear joined the group, lifting his paws and patting me on the arm. They're back right now. They don't have them no more. See, everyone has different, we're in different states. I have no clue if they have them here in Arizona. I haven't been to a McDuggies. I've been to a McNuggies recently. But they could be. Wearing a broad grin, Baby Bear joined the group, lifting his paws and patting me on the arm. He was playing the honorable knight, saving a damsel in distress. Papa Bear gave a frustrated exhale and got to his feet. Shut up, I'm going back inside. He hit his face. I can check on the app, I have it. He hid his face from me, but I was sure his cheeks were flushed. Are they? I want to see him blush. Mama Bear stepped in front of Papa Bear before he could stomp off and reached out to touch Papa Bear's wrist. Royal, let me fix you up. I felt worse and worse, and I stared at his scorched fabric and blackened wool. It was my fault he was injured. I should have been more aware of my surroundings. Maybe then I could have stopped him from before he collided with me. Feeling a wave of determination come over me, I shifted over to Papa Bear and Mama Bear. Before he could resist, I lifted Papa Bear into my arms and got to my feet. Oh, I tried opening it, but it like closed instantly on me. Let's see. I'm seeing the Kerwin Frost box. Let's see. I don't have internet on my phone, which is crazy. Let's see, McNuggies. Yeah, mine's only shows normals. I got normal nuggies on mine. You can't see my phone because of the lighting, but I ain't got none. See, it's just you. You got spicy. Got to my feet. A flash of red crossed his muzzle as he began to struggle in my arms. What are you doing? Put me down, you idiot. I just heard that Cupid Parasite is coming out May 28th. Yes! And then Radiant Tell fan disc is coming out June 27th. Which means now I have to play Radiant Tell in May instead of Charade Maniacs. Otherwise, I can't play the fan disc when it comes out. Oh, the dilemmas. I held on to him, but tried to be gentle so I didn't accidentally hurt him. There's so many Atomi games coming out right now, too. It's driving me a little crazy. I can't keep up. He didn't seem to feel pain as a human did, but I didn't know that for sure. Let me do it instead. The sewing, I mean. From the ground, Mama Bear gave me a perplexed look, complete with a tilted head. Are you sure, my lady? It's no trouble for me, too. I'm sure. It's the least I could do. Papa Bear ceased his struggling, though the look he gave me was not one of gratitude. Do you even know how to sew, girl? I hesitated. I'd done a bit of stitching back from time to time. It wasn't that hard, as I remember. You don't think I can? Don't answer a question with a question. I will if I want to, okay? Though Papa Bear's attitude stayed firm, I noticed a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. Baby Bear chuckled, a playful smirk curving his mouth. Hey, at least she's nice enough to offer you her help. As if to avoid more discussions and pestering, Papa Bear slumped in my arms with a heavy sigh. Fine, just make sure that you fix me up properly. Got it? Of course. Ow. That's how you know. This is a real sewer right here. I winced as the needle poked my finger for the upteenth time. Thankfully, I hadn't spilled any blood on Papa Bear's arm, which would have caused him more reason to complain. I paused, noticing the irony of the situation. Here I was, worrying more about ruining Papa Bear's appearance than spilling my own blood. Sewing wasn't as easy as I had thought it was. Papa Bear heaved a sigh at me again. I knew it. You have no idea what you're doing. Of course I do. Ow. She's like holding the needle backwards, and like her thumb's over the sharp point. What's happening? Another sigh fell from his lips as he said nothing more. I tried to be more careful, at least not cry out when I pricked my finger. Eventually, I finished the task and gave Papa Bear a smile. And then instantly it unravels. His arms feel like, whew, there you go, good as new. Shifting over to a mirror on the wall, Papa Bear turned to inspect his arm. With every second that passed, the gloomier his expression became. After a moment, he held his arm at me and glared. You call this stitching? It almost looks worse than it did when you started. I flinched, insulted by his lacking gratitude. It's the best I could do. Shaking his head, Papa Bear snorted and began fussing with his arm. I should have let Lord Soul fix me up instead. Though I opened my mouth to retort, another look at his arm closed it. His voice was mean, but he wasn't wrong. I had tried my best, but it was obvious I didn't know what I was doing. I hoped Soul could fix my mistakes. After enough silence had passed, I tried to change the topic. Does it hurt? The burn, I mean. Turning from the mirror, Papa Bear gave me a complicated look. It was unsettling how he seemed overwhelmed by emotion in one instant, then a void of emotion in another. We're toys. Pain is irrelevant to us now. Oh. My observation earlier had been correct. I doubt being harmed was pleasant, even if he couldn't feel the pain. Papa Bear's tone and choice of words left me uncomfortable, as though there was a lot he wasn't saying aloud. Thank you for saving me. Even though it wasn't really necessary. I added that last bit with a whisper of a tease in my voice. Unfortunately, his expression remained grim and unsettled. Do you really have to rub it in? I didn't do it for you. Not meaning to upset him, I opened my mouth to apologize, but he shook his head inside. I'm just tired of seeing people die in front of me. A strange silence hung in the air, following his words. Even though everyone in this mansion thought this wall was dangerous, it was still hard to imagine it to be deadly. Even I thought about it, my chest tightened. I couldn't imagine what it was like for them to live this way. Lost in my thoughts, I almost missed what Royal mumbled next. Why do I always have to be the one left behind? When I looked at him again, Royal was standing close to the mirror and had his paw resting upon the glass. Though he was a toy bear, there was genuine sadness bleeding through his fuzzy exterior. Never had it been clearer to me that these toys were once human. Before I could say his name, Royal looked up and glared at me through the mirror. Anyway, when the time comes you actually decide to die, do it when I'm not around. Whatever emotion I might have seen on Royal was immediately buried. I wanted to ask him so many questions, but the look in his eyes convinced me to save it for now. And here I thought you were finally becoming a nice person. If I'm being nice to you, then the world is going to end. Oh. I just checked the 15 closest McDuggies for there, and none of them have spicy nuggies. I know, I searched. It's not on the menu. We don't get spicy nuggies. Giving one final scoff, Royal strode from the room. The way he touched his arm as he left suggested he was off to see Soul. Though I hadn't known him for more than a day, I sensed a gentle heart beneath his gruffy exterior. But why does he try so hard to distance himself from the others then? Only after I'd been left alone for a while did it dawn on me that I was trapped in this mansion, a prisoner, if you will. I glanced around the room I'd been given. It was an elegant living space and seemed like a dream compared to the one I lived in back home. However, a fancy room didn't negate the fact that I was now involved in a 7-year curse that I had no idea how to break. If anyone saw me right now, they'd probably think I was a wall fixture. All I seemed capable of doing was staring out the window without the energy or inclination to do anything else. It's all I had done since Royal tried to save me 2 days ago. I knew I needed to make the best of a bad situation, yet the disappointment and sadness kept me rooted by the window. I finally had a chance to bring my dream to life. Perhaps it was a bit dramatic, but I imagined another funeral, this time for my hopes and dreams. The coffin was fancy and beautiful flowers were scattered everywhere. The thought started off silly, but my eyes soon stung with tears as I started to sob. The door erupted with a series of furious knocks. Will you shut up? How long are you planning on locking yourself in there? Listen, Mr. Beast. Leave me alone. My command went unheeded as the rapping continued. It's gonna be like the softest, like... That's how it's gonna sound. He's fluffy. He can't knock on the door. I thought he'd given up if I ignored him, but when that seemed incorrect, I trudged towards the door. Opening it revealed Royal with a venomous look on his face. Striking the tears from my face, I glared back at him. Can't you just let me drown in despair? I just lost my future 2 days ago. And we already lost ours 7 years ago. So you have had 7 years to cry. Give me like a day. Give me a week. He clipped, retort, froze me in place, guilt flowing over me. Compared to the life the Deluxe mansion had been cursed with, my work in a kitchen in Glendale seemed weightless. Glancing at Royal's arm, I remembered what had happened 2 nights ago. Soul had managed to salvage the limb, but the results of my poor stitching job lingered like a wound. I felt stupid for being so selfish. I'm sorry. The glare softened from anger to annoyed. Royal nodded and changed the subject. Why don't you make yourself useful and help me with the cleaning? I guess. It's not my house and I haven't made any messes, but I'll help. There was a broom resting against the wall, which he then took up and handed to me. I accepted and motioned to start the task without another word. You're making our guests clean. You are such a gentleman, Royal. Dion approached us from a far end of the hall, clicking his tongue as he walked. He had a grin on his face. Royal turned his scowl on Dion, not Dean. She should make herself useful instead of moping up here. Ah, so we have a maiden in need then. Would you like to play with me instead, my lady? I'm sure we'll have lots of fun together. His glare remained firm. Royal stepped in front of Dion as if to keep us apart. It didn't seem protective, more like he didn't want me to stop sweeping. Somehow your idea of playing sounds indecent. Dion wagged his paws in front of him and gestured innocence, but his budding smirk was teasing. My, you have such a dirty mind, dear Royal. Royal replied with a snort as he crossed his arms. If it's you, I can think of all of the worst possibilities. Ouch, I'm hurt. Do you really think of me that way? I wonder. I didn't really think this situation was worth a verbal battle. Clutching the broom handle in my hand, I tried to reason with them. You guys, please don't fight. With a tilt of the head, Dion glanced at me. The surprise in his expression caught me off guard. His following smile was sweet and teasing. Don't worry, this is normal for us. Shaking his head to end the topic, Dion turned towards the direction he had come from. Anyways, just come to me if you want to play for someone, love. Even though he's insisted to Royal that his meaning was innocent, I couldn't help agreeing with the Grumpy Bear's interpretation. I forced a smile anyways. Sure. Do take good care of our guest, Royal. With a wave, Dion went on his way. Royal watched in a huff, silence until Dion rounded the corner and disappeared, then exhaled a petulant sigh. How bothersome. Come on, Miss Maria. Won't be happy if she sees us slacking off in here. There was a note in his voice that suggests I obey. And thinking back to my first meeting with Miss Maria, I didn't dare argue with him. We ended up in the library and boy was it huge. It seemed huge compared to the small room of books I was used to back at the village. I stood at the doorway in awe, wondering just how many books were housed in here. Must have stayed there for some time because Royal gave a deliberate cough before advancing towards the shelves. When I turned to look at him, he glared back at me. Then again, I was already getting used to his glares. It seemed to be a trademark of his, so my day wouldn't have been complete without 1 or 10 of them. Though I should have started to clean, my attention stayed on Royal, my eyes watching him dust the shelves with the cloth he carried. His teddy bear form did not seem to hinder him as much as I thought it would. 7 years. They've lived their lives as toys for 7 years in a curse that seems impossible to break. A wave of helplessness and regret washed over me. I couldn't stand the idea of them being trapped this way, but it wasn't as if I had the means to save the day either. How unfair, casting a curse without indicating the way to end it. Flinching, I pressed my hand to my mouth. I hadn't intended to say that out loud. When I looked up, Royal was staring at me, his eyes dulled and his mouth pressed in a flat line. It's certainly unfair, but we have no choice but to live with it. His tone of voice struck me in the chest. It lacked the conviction I thought it would. Though I suppose after 7 years, he'd given up the idea of being saved. I felt sad hearing it. Don't you ever wish you'll become human again? Royal finally stopped wiping the shelves, but there was a strange stiffness in his little body. Though he had spoken like nothing mattered anymore, his hesitation at my question suggested otherwise. My wishes are only for that person. Wink, 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 wink. This time there was emotion in his voice. There was a soft and distant sadness to it, yet also a warmth that I hadn't heard him express in the few days I had been here. A tinge of envy hit me. There was a side of Royal that wasn't all thorns, and it wasn't directed at me. And that is? Love triangle, le gasp. I'm curious how it's going to play out since he's in love with Goldie. But Lily was in love with Soul, and that worked out fine because Lily was just a sweet little angel. It's none of your business, girl. There it was again. The thorny, mean side of Royal kept turning on me. Not that he seemed to show anyone else much kindness, but it was tiring to be snapped at all the time. I puffed up my cheeks in annoyance. Why are you so mean to me? I'm not. Yes, you are, grumpy bear. Yeah, he gave a snort and gestured at the broom in my hands. The floors won't sweep themselves, you know. Scowling at him, I clenched my hands upon the broom handle and swung it haphazardly, sending clouds of dust flying in all directions. I knew it was a terribly childish, but Royal was frustrating. He coughed and waved his arms, and the dust scattered through the air. Do you even know how to clean? I am cleaning, Mr. Grumpy Bear. I slowed my temperamental sweeps after that, since I wasn't looking to actually create a mess. I was just frustrated. Royal was the gloomiest of them all, and for some reason it bothered me not knowing why he acted that way. I demand to understand. And not that I could prove it, but it seemed like Royal was meaner to me than anyone else. It just felt like my presence was an irritation to him, the way he glared at me, the edge in his voice. It all seemed worse than how he treated the others. I knew it made sense logically. There were people he had lived with even before the curse versus me, the outsider from only a few days ago. But it's still so unfair. A scuffle of movement broke through my reverie. I turned to see Royal standing on a middle shelf, trying to reach the one above. He was up on his tiptoes. The shelves weren't evenly spaced and meant to accommodate taller books, so he couldn't reach the next one up easily. He was clearly having a hard time, yet he refused to ask me for help. Seconds ticked on, in which Royal tried many different tactics, but he still struggled to wipe the shelf above him. It says, so the options are help or leave him alone. I have the guide beside me. And the guide says leave him alone. So we're gonna. I let out a sigh. He's such a stubborn bear. Though the urge to help was strong, I continued to sweep my own spot. Given Royal's attitude, I'd just be brushed off with some snide remark. I'd had enough of those to last me the week. Amidst my sulking, I heard a creaking sound and looked back behind me. Somehow, a stack of hardcover books had been dislodged, teetering towards where Royal had jumped down to the floor. My heart twisted in fear. Look out! I instinctively threw myself over Royal, shielding the small bear against the onslaught of books. Pain exploded across my back and limbs with every hit. You? And here I thought I was the clumsy one. I managed a small smile despite the excruciating pain coursing through my body. He just stared evenly as my vision blurred and the room tilted sideways. I managed one last sharp, painful breath. Now we're even. And then everything went dark. Oh, Aura's mom. Keep this for me, Aura, until the day we meet that person. I held out my hand to accept a rusty, broken locket. It looked like it might have been beautiful once, beneath the damage that had gathered over the years. Who's this person you're talking about? Mother didn't answer my question. My heart ached. The once vibrant mother I knew now looked pale and weak. Her illness is already taking a toll on her body. A single tear rolled out of her eye, smiling warmly before fading into the light around me. Sorry. Mother, wait. I bolted upright, setting off a kaleidoscope of pain over my body. A dull throb started at the base of my skull and spread upwards. I should lie down for a while. Besides me, Royal sat with solemn expression on his face. We were still in the library, on the floor where the books had fallen, but I noticed the books were all gone. I wondered how long I'd been unconscious. How are you feeling? I intended to be sarcastic, saying I felt like I'd been hit by a ton of books. But when I reached up to touch my head, I noticed the blanket Royal must have draped over me. So I chose something neutral instead. My head hurts, but I'll live. He sighed, but it wasn't the same exhale of exasperation I'd come used to hearing. It sounded both relieved and yet unhappy. You really are an idiot. You shouldn't have done that. Even his voice wasn't prickly and angry like usual. I was suddenly worried that I might have gotten hit on the head too hard, and maybe this was really a dream. I felt a sharp pang in my chest. Nope, the pain was real. Then you'd be the one who would have gotten hurt. Shrugging his shoulders, Royal cast me a listless expression, one that didn't suit him at all. I've already told you before, I'm a toy, not a human. I don't feel pain anymore. As his voice lost strength and his body slumped against the bookshelves, I felt a surge of emotion rush through me. Don't say that. I bent towards Royal and scowled at him, and for the first time he seemed surprised. You may have the body of a toy, but your mind and soul is that of a human. Don't just throw away your humanity like that. For a moment, Royal said nothing. His sad face looked back at me with uncertain curiosity. I suspect that there was a vulnerability beneath his thorns, and I couldn't help wondering what caused Royal to doubt himself so much. Then, all at once, as if our conversation never happened, Royal shook his head with a typical sigh. You're one weird girl. A smile touched at my mouth. I never thought I'd be happy to hear him his exasperated self again. So I'm told. Getting to his feet, Royal reached out as if to touch my head, but then he retreated and crossed his arms. Hiccups, oh gosh. Don't pull another stunt like that, got it? Though he returned to chastising me, his voice was softer than usual. He's starting to like me. It made my cheeks warmed at the thought. I'll try. Can you stand? Yes. His whole body relaxed as he nodded with approval. You better go back to your room and rest that head of yours. Just when I thought we'd made a breakthrough, Royal added to his statement, brow furrowed into a mild glare. Best check you don't have any more loose screws. With that, things were back to normal. Still, I didn't have any complaints after seeing Royal so listless before. I wanted to worry about him some more, but my head started to pound. I decided to leave things for now. As I got to my feet and headed towards the door, I heard a hushed voice behind me. Thank you. Huh? Rill didn't meet my gaze. Instead, turning to gather up his cleaning implements, he continued working. Nothing. I didn't say anything. It's like I'm the angry one. I felt warm and unexpected light. Tsundere. You know, we all love tsundere baka. We all like a nice little tsundere. I felt warm and unexpected light. It was a funny sensation, as if I were floating through a warm summer's day. To be clear, tsunderes are just cats. We just like cats. That's all that happened. I didn't want to open my eyes and find out where I was. I just wanted to keep drifting. I'd been stuck at the deluxe mansion for 3 weeks now, with no end to my stay in sight. Not that I didn't enjoy the company of everyone. Even Royal was slowly losing his grumpy edge with me, and I kept myself busy with chores and cooking practice. I yearned to be free. Maybe that's what this feeling was, freedom. It felt nice. As I tried to settle into this sensation, I heard a faint female voice call my name. It was gentle and non-threatening, and I forgot my previous determination to ignore where I was. Opening my eyes, I looked around with my blurry vision, but there was nothing except for the vast white background. Aura? The voice continued, beckoning me. As I looked back and forth across the whiteness, a small figure soon cut its way into the nothingness. I drifted towards her, only then realizing that neither of us were actually taking steps, and the distance between us vanished. Is this a dream? The girl looked young, but she was beautiful. Her eyes were vibrant blue, and her hair was a cascade of long gold locks. Take her hand, don't take her hand. If I'm dreaming, what does it matter? Unable to explain the calm, I felt I reached towards her. The soft smile on her lips was warm as her hand. Who are you? What do you think you're doing? My eyes flickered open as the gruff demand, the familiar but incensed voice breaking through my reverie. It seemed I had been asleep, but as my sight adjusted through the haze, I only saw unfamiliar surroundings in the dim light. After a few turns of my head, I looked forward, still in a kneeling position. Sitting in a velvet settee was a beautiful porcelain doll, her hair like spun gold. My breath caught in my throat. Not only was I holding the doll's small hand, it felt impossibly warm. What? Blue eyes shone within the moonlight. Her faint pink lips were curved into a sweet smile, but the longer I looked at her, the more I saw a whisper of sadness behind her happy facade. There was something uncomfortably real about her. Is she like Poppy? Does she have like real eyes, like human eyes? I didn't get to dwell on it for long, however, before Royal's voice came after me again. What are you doing here? The icy chill in his raised voice finally dragged me away from my thoughts. I blinked, looking again at how I was kneeling before a beautiful doll, my fingers gently holding onto her hand. Wait, what? Finally, failing to produce an answer, I looked over at Royal in a half-panicked, half-angry expression. The thing was, I didn't know what I was doing here either. It must have been a dream, so maybe I had sleptwalked into her. But that sounded too silly to admit to Royal. He remained quite unimpressed. It had been a while since his glare was that frozen. It's the middle of the night. What are you doing in her room? Forehead furrowed with suspicion, Royal crossed his arms and advanced towards me. More importantly, how did you know where she is? I glanced at the unfamiliar room, only just coming to the conclusion I had somehow wandered the halls and ended up in such a special room. Thinking back to the previous conversation, I recalled the toys commiserating that only the young heiress remained lifeless even though she had become a toy too. This is Goldilocks' room? Aura? My eyes widened and I shivered at the young girl's voice from my dream called out to me again. Warmth swelled at my chest and a bright light shone through where our fingers connected. I stood in a panic, the light spreading to my chest. But whether it was from kneeling for so long or from fear, my legs buckled. The light swallowed up the room as I felt my body collapse. Ow! I fully expected to hit the ground, so I was no doubt startled when my body hurt less than it should have. To add to my confusion, it was harder to breathe, something heavy pressed down on my chest. I looked upwards. Oh my. Forgot he has gray eyes. He's got gray eyes. This could be a picture used for like a murder scene. I'm just gonna, like, it looks like he could be ending her life. I looked upwards. My entire body froze at the sight of the silver eyes of a handsome face glaring down at me. Oh no, he's hot! His dark hair dangled between us like icicles. I didn't know where he had came from, especially when there had been no one in the mansion besides myself and the toys for weeks. What? His glare felt so familiar. I tried to stutter out some kind of response, but a gruff, impatient growl cut me off. What did you do, you idiot? I thought through the urge to defend myself against his fury was strong. Both curiosity and fear took over my senses. Blinking, I changed the subject. Who are you, anyways? The guy's brow furrowed, his silver eyes glinting. With a snort, he leaned closer as if trying to examine my face for clarification. Did you hit your head or something? Heat flooded my face at the distance between us shrunk even more. I knew he was kneeling over me, but only now did the intimacy factor strike me at full force, like, ooh, pervert! Get off of me. Thrusting my hands upwards, I knocked the stranger off of me. He landed on the carpet with a thump, and I immediately shuffled backwards until I hit the wall. A low growl spilled into the air as the guy lifted himself into a seating position, his growl evolving to a snarl. What was that all about, you stupid girl? The familiarity in his voice, those insults, the memories of a teddy bear filling my senses. I started to tremble at the knowledge I'd gained. Only one person, toy calls me that, and that's... Thrusting my fingers forwards, I tried to yell, but shock warped my words instead. You're royal? His half-lidded stare revealed a flicker of amusement before he descended back into looking like I had ruined his dinner. I am? What is wrong with you? Forgot how to talk properly? I could only stare with my mouth agape and my heart pounding in my chest. Strangely, it wasn't Royal being human that surprised me. It was so much as his actual appearance. I never thought he'd be cute, guys. Like... With his gloomy and grumpy attitude, I had completely expected something different. Not anything like this handsome guy. You're actually really stupid right now. Why are you so surprised anyways? It's not like I magically transformed into... Bum bum bum. Suddenly, the door flung open, revealing more unfamiliar humans in a mansion supposedly populated by toys. Oh no. Unlike the guy calling himself royal, all of them sported my mind-blown expression. There were two guys, both with striking blonde hair. One's hairstyle was short while the other was tied into a small ponytail complete with green ribbon. There was a similarity to their handsome features, as if they were possibly related, wink 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 wink. A petite girl with her pink hair tied to the left and a beautiful lady with long dark hair and a fierce atmosphere about her stood next to them. My cheeks flushed again. I began to doubt my own appearance with so many attractive people in the room. She's like, oh my god, I'm trash. She just had like this realization. She's like, how did I get here? She just lucked into this house. Royal balked, his irritation looking replaced by genuine surprise. You guys too, but how? We'd like to ask the same thing. All of us saw the same bright light, and the next thing we knew, we were human again. The party at the door all mumbled agreeing and nodding their heads at one another. After a pause of awkward silence, Royal swiveled to shoot me a fresh, venomous glare. I stiffened. I was only used to the teddy bear version of his glare, and those did not prepare me for these silver eyes and his picturesque human face. You have a lot of explaining to do, girl. Tilting my head to the side, I could only manage a quiet groan in response. Even I didn't know what was going on. After a while, we all gathered in the dining room to discuss what happened. It took some time because soon after returning to human forms, everyone felt the rare pain of hunger, something they had not suffered in 7 years. Oddly enough, their fridge had also been affected by the magic of the curse. I just open the fridge and I can find whatever ingredients I need. They did not explain this in any other route. So I've been practicing a few recipes since I came here. I had been the only one who could try them, so I felt good to be able to finally share my cooking with everyone. After setting the table with a variety of quick but filling dishes, I'd settled down at the far end and watched with relieved happiness as they helped themselves to the dishes. This is divine, Lady Aura, certainly on par with Miss Rua's cooking. Sol offered me a soft smile as I picked up another forkful of risotto and indulged in his meal. Dion grinned, grabbing a fresh helping of cheesy potatoes and omelet. Nice. I love cheesy potatoes, and I think this is even better than hers. I smiled wide and at their compliments. Oh, you boys. I didn't think I was surpassing my mom just yet, but it felt good to hear their praise. My mom's the one who taught me everything. Oh yeah, I'm not as good as her yet, but someday I'll surely become the best chef in the whole world. There was a snort from the other end of the table. Whole world? Quite the lofty delusion, girl. I glared back at Royal, puffing out my cheeks. I noticed that he wasn't holding back on his portion, so he couldn't think my food was that bad. Gee, thanks for breaking this young maiden's heart, Grumpy Bear. He then returned to his meal, pointedly avoiding my eyes. After everyone had eaten, we started discussing everything from the beginning. I had a dream. As it turned out, the curse hadn't kept everyone from aging. They were now 7 years older. That shocked everyone. I was only 10 when the curse began. She paused, looking down at her hand, still trying to comprehend the years she had spent as a doll. This is the worst curse in the world. You ruined these people's lives. You could have just killed the dad and not done this. Dion leaned forward, snuggling his chin into his palm. A playful grin spread across his face. Who would have thought that our little crybaby would become such a fine lady? Flushing a deep red, Lily pressed her hands into her lap and stared down at the table. You're embarrassed me, Lord Dion. Dion smirked, waving his hands in a dismissive gesture. How many times do I have to tell you to simply call me Dion? We're practically family now. Flinching, Lily shook her head vigorously. I can't do that, Lord Dion. You're a member of the Deluxe family, and I will always address you formally. With a shrug of faint defeat, Dion bobbed his head in Sol's direction. Then how about Sol? Even now you call him Prince. I hid a smile behind my hands as Lily's cheeks went scarlet and her voice sounded more panicked than before. Prince Sol doesn't mind, so... Oh, really, Sol? He turned his head towards his brother, his smirk widening and his perfect teeth flashing. Sol's smile was gentle and unassuming as he lifted a cup of tea to his lips. If Lady Lily wishes to call me Prince, that is fine with me. Although I have to admit that it is quite embarrassing. I am no prince after all. But you are! He offered another smile at Lily's outburst, causing a new outbreak of red to stain Lily's cheeks. She fidgeted where she sat, glancing at Sol from beneath her pink cotton candy bangs. Since I had arrived here, I'd noticed that Lily acted shy around Sol and marvel over his princely charms. It was cute, though Sol seemed oblivious to her crush. How lucky you are, little brother. Still teasing, Dion reached over and snagged a biscuit from Sol's plate. Sol didn't say anything, his eyebrows lifting in confusion. Whatever do you mean? Dion let out an exasperated sigh. Never mind. He stretched his arms forwards and waggled his fingers. Anyways, I'm quite pleased that I grew up into such a handsome young man. Just like before, Royal's snort answered Dion from out of nowhere. He lifted a hand to his ears, brushing some of his dark hair back. I never expected Royal to look so attractive with his dark complexion and piercing silver eyes. Thankfully, he hadn't noticed that I had been staring at him all through our late-night feast. Too bad you're still so short. And you're still as scary-looking as ever. Ahem. In an instant, the mood shifted. How old is she? She's the nanny, right? How old is she? Both Royal and Dion snapped to attention and didn't dare continue their banter. Miss Maria lowered her hands from her mouth and paused, her lips pressed into a prime line. It still baffled me how young Miss Maria looked. She was quite beautiful, her raven black hair was long and silky, her skin smooth, and she seemed more physically fit than me. When she had been introduced as the nanny, I had assumed Miss Maria was nearing her 50s, like a harsh grandmother that spared no one. Anyways, going back to the original topic. Royal, you're saying that the light appeared when Aura was near Lady Gold. Yes. He glanced at me for answers. His expression crinkled with annoyance as if my existence was troublesome for him again. I thought we were on okay terms, but everything that happened maybe... I thought we were on okay terms with everything that's happened. Maybe our relationship status reset. An odd sadness tightened my chest. But Lady Gold was yet to return to normal, so it means that the curse is still not broken. Miss Maria sighed and crossed her arms as she continued her statement with care. An air of disappointment passed over the table. Despite the fact that everyone was human again, the unending loss of Gold hung over them. Even I lost my smile. Gold was important to everyone here. Restoring everyone but her made me feel as though I had failed despite not knowing what I did or if I did anything at all. Before the Tormaker finished casting the curse, she said that she had sealed Gold's heart in a place where it could be protected. And only when her heart is returned to her shall the curse be broken. I looked up at her in surprise, trembling a little under her firm stare. Her gaze was intense, though I knew she wasn't angry with me. Perhaps Aura holds the key to finding Lady Gold's heart. My mouth dropped open. I hadn't expected her to reach that conclusion. Me? Moi? This person right here? Whatever do you mean? I thought I moved the mouse, but... Could it be that Lady Gold's heart is stored within Lady Aura's? I spun towards Lily, feeling even more confused and surprised. I had felt a strange warmth while I was in Gold's room, so if Lily was right, I shivered a little. After a moment, an evil aura developed near the other end of the table. When I looked, I saw Royal with a frightening expression on his face, his smile bordering deranged. Now be a good girl and give me your heart. Don't worry, I'll be very gentle. What a weird sentence. Bruh! I shifted away and hid myself behind Sol, who was seated beside me. Reaching back, Sol patted my head and chuckled. Royal's only kidding, my lady. Though his expression reverted to something more normal, Royal wasn't smiling. There was no indication to whether he had been serious about this. in his deadpan appearance. No, I'm actually serious about it. Ahem. With another cough, Royal's eyes went wide and he rubbed the back of his neck with his hand. I shifted back to my seat, clasping my hands in my lap. Miss Maria's power was amazing to behold. Sorry. Nodding, Miss Maria let out a sigh, her head tilting to the side. I'm sure we'll get the answer we seek soon. Setting her teacup down, Sol nodded, though his encouraging expression was dusted with uncertainty and sadness. I do hope that you are all right, Miss Maria. We did it! We're on the route! And he's a real boy now, but will he kill us? Is he the only one with a bad ending? The discussion carried on well into the night. No one seemed tired, though I suspect their internal clocks would eventually catch up to them. The sleepiness came and passed for me, but with the excitement over what had happened, it was easy to stay awake. Warmth filled my chest as I listened to their stories and saw how happy they were to be human again. Even though I do not believe I did anything to bring them back, it felt good thinking I might have played a part. Yay! Hello, hello! Still have your cute little emotes, vibing in stream. Nice. Even though I do not believe I did anything to bring them back, it felt good thinking I might have played a part. Somehow, after a while, I noticed that a certain grumpy bear was missing from the table. I blinked a few times, trying not to distract anyone else as I struggled to remember when I last saw Royal. Eventually, though, my curiosity got the better of me and I politely excused myself, claiming I finally felt tired enough to sleep. Once I was free, I set out on my secret quest to locate Royal. A few minutes of walking, I came to the hallway leading to Gold's room. There was something odd about the door handle. I crinkled my brow in confusion, sneaking closer to investigate. The door was ajar. I thought Royal had closed it when we left. I snuck around the door, hoping that I was silent as I thought I was, and peeked inside to the elaborate room. Kneeling before Gold was with his right hand nestled underneath her left was Royal. I could only see an outline of his profile, but from the downward curve of his lips and the way he tipped his head revealed his sadness and devotion to her. He reminded me of a knight who was loyal to his princess, yet regretfully that she was still beyond his reach. I heard his voice fill the room. I'm sorry. I saw Royal bow his head, his shoulders drooping as though he were carrying a heavy weight on his back. You must be tired of hearing my apologies every single day. But what else can I do? We continue to move on and live while you remain lifeless. This is all my fault if only Royal lifted his head again. The cloud outside drifted away, unfiltering the moonlight and letting it shine on his figure. There was something so lonely about the shadow that reflected upon the delicate golden carpet. The guilt I bear is overwhelming. I fear you'll never forgive me. If I'd been stronger, maybe this would have never happened. There had been a few times when Royal was weak and subdued, but I had never seen him look so broken. Since I've been in this mansion, broken is intense. Biting my lip, I remember what Royal told me before. My wishes are only for that person. So that person is her. I finally understood. Royal would probably deny it if I asked him directly about his feelings, but watching him just now was more close to the truth than any answer he'd given. Royal was in love with Gold. I unconsciously drifted back a step, pressing my lips together to keeping a sigh from escaping. It suddenly felt wrong to be standing here, witnessing a scene meant only for the two of them. I knew I should leave before Royal found out I was eavesdropping. There was an ache in my chest, intensifying with every quickened beat of my heart. Maybe, just maybe, if I stayed a bit longer, I could find out why Royal thought this was his fault. What should I do? Did she say out loud? I don't think we should risk it. It does say that to leave is the option, so. I shook my head. Royal and I weren't even on good terms in the first place. Besides, if he found out I was spying on him, there wasn't a single thing I could say to convince him that I was just concerned for him instead of being nosy. Turning around, I slipped out of the hallway and started towards my room. I didn't know what time it was, but I suddenly realized how tired I felt, wanting nothing more but to bury under the covers until noon. As my footsteps echoed throughout the lonely rooms, I glanced back down the path I'd come from and silently wished Royal a good night's sleep. I hope that he'll be able to get what he wishes for soon. Now do I have a dream with the toy maker? No. 2 weeks passed by and now no new information about the curse surfaced. There was no dreams with gold that gave me a hint. No one remembered anything new about the toy maker had said that fateful night. It was disappointing, but everyone slowly resumed carrying on their normal duties as before, unable to do anything except hope for the best. Absent-mindedly, my hand began to draw circles on the window with the cloth that I was supposed to be using to clean it. I let out a sigh at the realization that I had become attached to the deluxe household sunk in. It had been so long since I had a warm family surrounding me. Even though this was a temporary one, I wanted to protect them and help free them from the spell. Another sigh fogged the window, which I was cleaning for possibly the third time after getting lost in my thoughts. Suddenly, an annoyed voice spoke from nearby. "Get your head out of the clouds, girl." Casting a scowl over my shoulder, I finally finished the window and moved on to the next one. She's like, rude. Even though I was given the opportunity to practice my cooking, I still tried to help out with the other chores too. Unfortunately, I kept getting assigned work with Mr. Old Grumpy Bear. His attitude hadn't improved since he'd become human, at least not towards me. In fact, he often seemed even colder whenever I said I didn't know anything else about the dream I had. He acted nothing like Royal I saw that night in Gold's room. I wonder if he'll ever treat me as kindly as he does Gold. I flinched to a stop. My eyes widened, heart throbbing. The thoughts sounded like jealousy, but I didn't understand how or why I would be jealous of Gold. I felt Royal's piercing stare burning holes into my back. I finished up my window and shaking my head to derail that crazy train of thought, I hastily tried to move to the next window. A slender hand swept over and flicked my forehead. I recoiled, almost dropping my cloth. Ow! Gingerly touching the injury, I glared at Royal, but he only stared impassively back at me. "Why did you do that?" Shrugging, Royal returned to his own window. "You missed a spot." Puffing out my cheeks, I went over to clean the pain once more, even though I couldn't see the spot Royal meant. "You're making fun of me again." "No, I'm not." I couldn't stop the groan building in my chest. Royal hadn't hesitated in his response, leaving me crankier than before. I glared at the window and seeing no spot left, I moved to the next. I demand to be reassigned to another chore. Peeking at Royal, I saw another nonchalant shrug claim his shoulders. "Fine with me. But you'll have to talk to Miss Maria about it, so good luck with that." I nearly dropped my cloth and cleaning solution. I imagined the annoyed look she would surely give me when I brought to her my complaint and immediately decided against it. After only a few days, I had learned why Dion repeatedly called her a demon. Her glare was unnatural. Never mind. She's like, I'm good, I'll deal with it. Thought so. Tired of his flippant remarks, I just sighed and finished up the windows on the first level. I then grabbed a nearby ladder and climbed up so I could reach the higher areas. As I climbed, I felt a pair of eyes on me again. I looked to the side and flinched when I crossed paths with Royal's gaze. There was a flicker of amusement in those silver eyes. Careful, you don't want to show off your underwear. Stop looking. That's what I say when I'm on a ladder and I'm in a dress. A flash of heat shot across my face. My grip trembled against the ladder and I let go of one hand to press it against my dress. Pervert, don't look. A smirk flickered across his lips. Who would want to? Gritting my teeth didn't stop my blood from boiling. This was not the kind of attention I wanted. Royal, you idiot. Still riled up, I proceeded to take another step, but my foot slipped off the ladder rung. Royal is fun. Royal is trouble. Royal's gonna push us down a flight of stairs at some point. I squeaked in terror as I fell. Even if I wasn't up so high, the impact would still hurt. I shut my eyes, bracing for impact, but instead of striking the floor, I felt my back fall against something soft. My heart still throbbing, I opened my eyes to meet the concerned gaze spreading across Royal's face. My lower lip trembled when his arms tightened around me. How did he catch her like that? This is not the hold I pictured she'd land in his arms at. I only in a tome. Like, oh no, falling backwards ends up in a let me be her Asian. I don't, are you alright? Yes. My blush had become so hot that it was painful. I had already accepted that Royal was attractive, but him being this close was too much for my heart to handle. I tried to lean away, but there was nowhere to go. Royal, on the other hand, didn't seem to notice, his brow knitting as he sighed. Good, you're such a klutz. I could only blink in response. What? Look away or glare. Perfect. Pursing my lips in a frown, I glare at Royal. If I fall, let a hot guy catch me. Crying in the corner. Just the idea is like, if I like you're like praying, you're like, if I fall, let a hot guy catch me. Please. That's all I want. Just one. Just one. He frowned right back at me, annoyance gleaming in his eyes. What are you glaring at me for? I tilted my head to the side as if observing Royal from a different angle. Then I tried to mimic his usual sarcastic tone. You know, you'd be more handsome if you wiped off that gloomy expression. Flinching, Royal pulled his face away from mine. He'd just like throw her across the room. Shut up. Oh. He looked away, glowering at a bookcase across the room. Even from his profile, a pink glow was evident on his cheeks. I made him blush. I gasped, surprised I'd gotten a reaction out of him. I knew it! You do get flustered! As if a switch had been flipped, Royal turned back to me with a chilled, half-lidded glare. I'm letting you go now. I blanched, unable to catch myself or be prepared for the reaction. What? Pain shot up my tailbone as I landed disgracefully upon the hardwood. Tears prickled against my eyelids. How Royal! I glared up at him, but he pointedly avoided my gaze. See, he saved us, but he also caused us physical pain. He made a show of fussing with his gloves, but I didn't see any purpose to it because they looked perfectly fine to me. Though it was hard to see his face from my angle on the floor, I would bet money that he was still blushing. We're done here. You should go and help Lily with the laundry now. And then out of my life. Before I could protest his decision, Royal strolled from the room, grabbing his cleaning supplies without a break in motion. He didn't look back. For a minute or so, I just sat there nursing my bruised derriere and thinking how Royal could be so mean. It was so hard to stay mad at him when I remembered how cute he looked when he blushed. I'm saving that so I have it. No, yes. I did just as Royal had ordered and went to help Lily instead. She liked to hang the laundry out in the rose garden, allowing them to dry in the sweet spring air. She was coming to grab another basket when she saw me, and so I went inside to help her finish folding and rest the clothes. I noticed that you and Royal are getting along quite well lately. Lily's statement caught me off guard, and I almost dropped one of Miss Maria's dresses in the grass. I had been allowed to borrow her clothing while I was staying here. I had lost my suitcases somewhere in the forest, and I couldn't really go back to retrieve them thanks to the curse. Chuckling at the ridiculousness of her statement, I waved a hand dismissively at Lily's direction. Your eyes are deceiving you, Lily. Me and Royal getting along? If that happened, the world might just end tomorrow. Her ponytail bobbed as she tilted her head. Then she giggled and flashed me a grin as she gently folded one of Soul's shirts into a perfect square. It seems like she was putting more care and feeling into handling Soul's clothes than anyone else's. Lily interrupted my amused observation of her work. Trust me, Royal has a rather weird way of showing how he cares for others. I expressed my exasperation with a sigh and shake of my head, carefully folding the remaining pairs of slacks in my basket. I think he hates me. He's been bullying me nonstop since I came here. Lily winked at me playfully. That means he's fond of you. Don't teach children this, please. I'm fine with it, because he's mean but he likes me, but that's actually not a good sign. I stared at her, my mouth twisting into a frown. No, he's not. Don't be silly. I know that he acts cold to people around him, but deep inside he cares about everyone a lot. I flashed Lily an incredulous look, joining her in lifting up the basket in order to bring the laundry inside. Though she had been teasing me only a minute ago, her next sigh was soft and sad. It may not look it, but Royal is afraid of being left alone. Seriously. We started to walk a little slower. I kept my eyes on Lily, surprised, but not as shocked as I had been with her opening statement. It was just hard to believe that someone with attitude as cranky as Royal wouldn't want to be left alone. Lily's gaze softened as she spoke again. His parents died when he was only 4, and he was left under the care of our previous butler. He was always so quiet back then, keeping his head lower all the time. I suddenly understood what Lily had meant. Royal tended to be abrasive, but he was really just afraid of getting close to someone only to lose them. Lily continued with a sad, nostalgic smile. Lady Gold was the one who lowered Royal's... Lady Gold was the one who lowered Royal's defenses. She was so persistent on becoming his friend, but Royal wasn't used to getting all the attention from the young heiress. I glanced at Lily again and saw how bright her smile had become as she spoke about Gold. I couldn't help wondering just how wonderful Gold must have been to have so many love her. Lily laughed, breaking me out of my thoughts. Royal would blush so hard that Lord Dion would tease him endlessly, thus the start of their interesting but weird relationship. So everything started from Royal becoming because of Gold. No wonder she's so special to him. I can't impose on a bond like that. Guess I can't date Royal after all. The heaviness started again, and I was glad the basket prevented me from reaching towards my aching chest. Why do I feel like every time I think about his relationship with Gold, Royal really treasures those who are important to him? Is that why he threw me on the ground? It's not treasure. Would you believe he used to smile a lot? Lily hadn't noticed my pained expression, so I tried to keep it a secret, forcing out a laugh at her last question. That guy knows how to smile? Yes, but... We started up the stairs to the second floor, our pace slowing as Lily's story continued. After the curse was cast upon us, his smile disappeared. Can't blame him. He's lost some very important people in his life. My shoulders slumped at her words, but I quickly straightened up. You mean Gold? Lily nodded. Yes, but others too. His parents, he lost his parents twice. If you think about it, the previous butler was like a father to him. I glanced down at the clothes I was carrying, recalling something from when I had first came here. Theon had mentioned that their butler was long gone. What happened to him? Pausing, Lily took a deep breath as if trying to form the words. He was one of those who attempted to escape into the forest. Royal witnessed his adopted father die in front of him. I flinched as tears began to blur my vision. I willed away the same painful memory of my father's death. This curse was to teach a man to appreciate his family, and people literally died. And all these people that got trapped in the house have aged 7 years. Like, she looks 17 now, right? Like, she was 10. Now she looks 17, and she yet had to miss all of those years as a person. And I'm supposed to be like, dang, this toy maker knew what she was doing. Like, no. I willed away the same painful memories of my dead father's death. We were toys at the time, so no one felt pain when they died. It was awful. One moment they were with us, the next they were gone. Trying not to dissolve into sobs of empathy, I didn't lift my foot in time and fell forward on the steps. My attempt to protect the basket failed, and I ended up spilling all the laundry over the hardwood floor. Oh no. Miss Laura, are you alright? Giving her a yes, I set the basket down and moved to quickly refold the clothes that I had scattered. Lily placed her basket aside and helped. As the pile slowly reduced, I noticed a small, beautiful dress adorned with delicate lace and trim laying in the heap. This is beautiful. Did you make it? No soul made it. Lily shook her head as she took it into her lap, folding the dress to prevent wrinkles from forming before it could be hung up. Oh no, I'm actually very bad at sewing. Believe it or not, the masterpiece is a work of Prince Soul's. He's really outdid himself on this one. Even as Lily's placed the dress back in the basket, I stared at it, awestruck. The pattern was intricate. Back when Royal entered his arm as a teddy bear, I hadn't expected that Soul meant by knowing how to sew also included designing dresses too. You mean Prince Soul is especially good. He has been fond of designing clothes since we were young. When Lady Gold turned into a doll, he felt helpless but decided that she should at least be able to wear a beautiful dress every day until the curse was broken. I clasped my hands together and sighed. It was sweet of Soul to decide to dedicate his time to create new clothes for his sister. Even with her heart locked away somewhere, I knew Gold must be able to feel the love from the special people in her life. That's amazing. Nodding, Lily resumed folding the clothes I've dropped. I quickly started again though I looked over to her when a small sigh escaped her lips. How I wish he had sewn a dress just for me. Oh, Lily. Lily hugged a second dress to her chest, her eyes gazing at it longingly. Have you told him? Regaining her senses, her hand swiftly folded the dress and then moved on to the next article of clothing, but not before casting a sideways glance at me. Told him what? Your feelings. You're in love with him, aren't you? She rushed forward in alarm and leaned over the laundry basket between us so that she could press her hands over my mouth. Her cheeks flushed scarlet in an instant. How did you know? Am I really that obvious? When she didn't show any signs of removing her hands, I reached up and pulled them down. Her fingers were trembling a little, so I gave them a gentle squeeze. Frankly, yes, but I don't know why Soul hasn't noticed it. It could be that he's just really oblivious, or he's pretending not to know. Her blue eyes opened wide, her pupils contracting to pinpricks of the light. The blush spread to her ears. This is so embarrassing. Lily, wait. I tried to hold on to her hand, but Lily was already running away before I could finish my sentence. Giggling a little, I finished gathering the laundry and went to deliver the basket by myself. She's so cute. I do hope her feelings won't end up hurting her. Oh. Weird. What are you really thinking, Soul? Even after a week, I still continued to mull over what Lily had told me. About Royal. I knew he was capable of smiling, but I never thought that he used to do it a lot. Somehow, I really wanted to see him smile more often. Not only would he be less scary, but his face was sort of cute, with his mouth curved up. I was soon determined to bring a smile to Royal's face. So far, however, I'd been completely unsuccessful. I hadn't seen much of him either after having been assigned to a different chores since the laundry day. Even so, I wasn't going to give up. I wandered the halls during my scheduled break, trying to think of new ways to find his smile. Smirks didn't count. I was so wrapped up in my musing that I didn't hear the mischievous pattern of footsteps until 2 hands shot out and tickled my sides from behind. Oh, Dion. Boo. Yeah. Dion! I attempted to glare at the oldest D-Lock's son, but my heart was beating too fast, and my startled blush just caused him to laugh even harder. You're so cute when you're flustered. His smile was dazzling and amused. My cheeks burned at his unexpected compliment. He looked so deep in thought I couldn't resist. I didn't know what to say to that. My heart was still pounding from the surprise of being tickled. It had only been a playful grab, but it was embarrassing all the same. My cheeks stayed flushed, but I quickly remembered what Royal and Dean were close. They seemed to argue often, but it had always seemed like Dion was only teasing Royal. Maybe this was my chance. Is it true Royal actually smiled before? He looked thoughtful. Yeah, he had the most sinister smile I had ever seen. At least that was the one he wore most of the time. I giggled, wondering what reasons would make him smile that way. Dion tipped his head to the side. Why the sudden interest? I pursed my lips and gave him a quick glare. Even his questions had a teasing hint to it. When my actions seemed to have no effect on him, I gave up and answered in response. Because he's always so gloomy. And well, I really just want him to smile again. You still think of his happiness despite his cold attitude towards you. You're one weird girl. Dion's smile was still bright and silly, but I noticed something different about his eyes, almost as though he was relieved to hear my answer. I tried to defend myself. It's because he's been carrying such a heavy weight on his shoulders. I want him to realize that there are many wonderful people here who care so much about him. Dion still didn't answer. His smile softened as he thought about my response. Just as I was about to ask him what was on his mind, he opened his mouth to speak. Do you care for him? Of course. I'll bring back his smile. I responded immediately because I earnestly wanted to restore that smile. Do you like him? Yeah. Wait, what? No. I turned my head to the side, trying to hide the color rising in my cheeks. Oh goodness, but it wasn't untrue. I did like Royal at least a little bit. I had always felt something special when I was around him, but it was only now when it had been put into words that I finally knew what that feeling truly was. The more I thought of the realization, the more embarrassed I felt. Dion started laughing even harder. You're cuter when you blush. Good luck with that. Good luck with what? I spun towards Royal's voice. He had walked up behind me without a sound, much like Dion had done earlier. Lately, I've started thinking that the reason the men of this household excelled at being sneaky was to escape Miss Maria, and this series of incidents proved it. I could feel my blush deepening when Royal looked between Dion and I, his eyebrows quickening. Royal! Taking advantage of the distraction, Dion leaned in close from behind and whispered into my ear. Now's your chance to make him smile. I shivered a little as his breath tickled me. I whispered back to him, heart thumping. I didn't mean it literally. My mission had suddenly gotten harder. Royal's lip formed into a frown, and he crossed his arms, telegraphing his annoyance. He had used that same expression on me endless in the last month or so. You're both acting weird. I guess birds of a feather do flock together, huh? I flinched. His tone sounded unreasonably sharp, and I thought I heard an edge of bitterness as well. Why is he acting this way? Why is he being jelly bears? Shifting to my side, Dion stared at me with anticipation in his eyes. I noticed Royal's nose crinkle, but I had to face Dion first. What? You have a mission to do, right? Beaming, Dion set his hand on his hips in anticipation of my first move. My heart spun out of control at the idea that I had to do something to Royal sunken. As time passed, Royal's frown deepened. What mission? I pressed my lips into a line, not knowing what to say, and absently began fussing with the hem of my dress in embarrassment. Dion flashed us the most innocent smile I'd seen on him yet. After a moment, Royal huffed in disgust and spun around to leave. I don't need to waste my time with fools. Dion looked at me pointedly and I nodded. I knew I'd lost my chance if I didn't act. I should... tell a joke. Tickle him. He wouldn't laugh. He would just keep walking. Before I could make a decision, Dion gave me an impatient shove and sent me stumbling towards Royal. An idea had came to me as I toddled closer. I reached towards Royal's sides and tried to tickle him just as Dion did with me earlier. Yeah. Instead of laughing, Royal went bored stiff, letting out a gasp. He twisted back towards me, his face scrunched in surprise. To my disappointment, no smile greeted me. What do you think you're doing? I immediately, incoherently, my fingers still bent in a tickle position on his ribcage. And where do you think you're touching, you perverted girl? It was my turn to freeze. I glanced down at my hands and immediately scampered backwards. Whoa, I didn't touch any. I was tickling you, you idiot. Royal turned back towards me, eyebrows quick in a perfect arch. Really, it seems like sexual harassment to me. Whoa, Royal, that's a bit much. My plan had failed. Royal wasn't smiling, but his expression had my heart beating unbearably fast. I feel like he's mad at me. Oh no, he's screaming. That's how she feels. She's just like, this is great and terrible at the same time. There was a familiar teasing glint in his eye. It's not. Dion sauntered up from behind and swung his arm over my shoulders. He was shaking with laughter. MC is a masochist, maybe. Honestly, she's like, he's screaming at me, but he's so cute. If he wasn't so cute, I'd leave the room. I'm like, not good. That's not good. Or it seems like you need practice. How about trying your tickle technique on me instead? Huh? I stared at Dion with wide eyes, not sure I heard him right. Before I could think of an answer, though, I felt a hand wrap around mine. Like hell she would. I flinched, surprised by the volume of Royal's voice. He shot me a glance. Let's go. Not waiting for a reply, Royal held onto my hand and dragged me down the hall with him. Oh my. I glanced back just in time to see Dion give us a small wave. He's like, bye. We stumbled down another hall before I looked back at Royal with concern. Royal, where are we going? We turned into a third hallway before Royal stopped and faced me. If he touches even a single strand of your hair, I'll make him pay. Oh, parquet. Please tell me why. Oh. I froze at Royal's sudden and unexpected comment. As my brain registered his words, a blush spread over my cheek. Still sulking, Royal pulled my hand closer. If he ever does something stupid again, come tell me, understood? Are you worried about me? Do you care about me? Do you want to talk? Like, actually say words at me instead of scream at me. There was a moment of silence before Royal flushed a dark red, as if the logical interpretation of his words finally hit him. No, I'm not. I couldn't stop my smile from spreading. Despite the usual gruffiness in his voice, there was a tenderness in his expression that caused my heart to beat faster. I'm so glad. I thought you hated me. I could never hate you. Also, why? Why not? Why can't you hate me? Fuck. My eyes widened. I couldn't believe what I just heard him whisper. What? Nothing. He cleared his throat and glanced down, his face red all the way to his ears. As if noticing for the first time that my hand was in his, Royal quickly let go and made a performance of adjusting his gloves. I'll just adjust my sleeves. I did it. My heart, however, would never forget the words he had spoken. Now, care to explain what that was all about? I hesitated at first, feeling uncertain. However, I knew Royal wouldn't just let the topic drop, so I gathered my courage and tried to answer. Everyone seems happy now that you're human again, right? But you're still sad. You should be happy that the curse is almost broken. I know that we can break it completely, so you just need to have faith. Royal lifted a hand to interrupt me and spoke in a chilling voice. This isn't your concern. Stop sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. Stung. I looked down at the floor. I knew the topic was sensitive to him, but I hadn't expected him to shut me out so fast. But I just want to see you smile, Royal. Royal flinched. I glanced up and saw his reserved expression shift to a confused half smile, half pout. His blush seemed to be tickling back too. So that was what it was about. I sighed, toeing the ground with my right foot. I tried, okay? Royal sighed back in response. He looked exasperated and unapproachable, the patch of his barrier that I had penetrated, regenerated again. Just give it up, girl. You won't gain anything from doing this. But you will. His frown didn't disappear, but my reply seemed to get through to him. His eyes widened and his brow wrinkled in confusion. I could see that he was trying to figure out my motive. I gave him a small smile. You'll be happier if you smile. Do you know that frowning uses more muscles than smiling? Not to mention all the wrinkles that you'll develop if you keep. Royal shushed me, rubbing his temple with his hand. Why do you want me to smile so badly anyway? Because I want you to stop feeling guilty over what happened. Realizing what I just said, I slapped my hands over my mouth. I didn't mean it. But it was too late. The words had escaped. Oh! We're getting the Otome lean in this one. What a treat. You eavesdropped on me. I froze when his arm shot forward, his body trapping me to the wall. Karidan. I hadn't seen such an intensity in his eyes before. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. He punched the wall. It did not land anywhere near me, but for the first time, I was truly scared of him. How irritating. I've been trying my best to tolerate your idiotic behavior, but it seems my patience has run out. You were better off isolated from the rest of the world, but now everything is completely complicated because of you. Were you better off isolated? She can't even talk, my guy. The low growl in his voice was frightening, matching the cold fury in his eyes. His words stung as though he had struck a knife in my chest. He brought nothing but trouble for us. I tried to stay calm, but his words were so hurtful. All this time I hadn't thought Royal saw me as someone unpleasant. Suddenly I doubted the rare kindness he did show me. Tears blurred my vision. But what irks me the most is your optimism. Stop acting like everything will be solved simply by believing. Blinking back tears, I lifted my head and challenged Royal with the tightest expression I could manage. But deep down, all I wanted to do was curl into a ball and cry. It wasn't a bad thing to wish for happiness for him and everyone else, and I wasn't going to apologize for it. Hello, glad I caught the stream even for a little bit. Hello, Prim. Well, once this is done, I'm actually going to start doing a couple demos I have downloaded, so I'm going to switch to demos, and then after I do the demos, if it's late, it'll be it. If it's not late, I'll take a break and come back after I eat dinner. So we have demos coming up. You said that believing won't solve anything, yet you still believe that gold will one day turn back to human, don't you? Royal flinched, gray eyes wide as I revealed his true feelings. I knew Royal wanted to be as optimistic as I was, but he was too afraid of disappointment. I know that you're always going to her room waiting for her to return. But you know what? You're not the only person who's waiting for her. Sol, Dion, Lily, Miss Maria are too. Royal bit his lip, contemplating his response. I didn't wait for him to speak. Can I hear some of the ones you're playing soon? Let's see. Oh no, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. It's Diffraction. And then the other one is The Beauty Which Only the Beast Knows. So those are the two I have downloaded right now. Oops, I clicked on something. That was my bad. I didn't wait. We're all powerless against this curse, but they... No, we still continue to believe that one day everything will turn back to normal. Still, Royal didn't speak. He only stared at me with cold, hesitant eyes. My brain's also broken and I keep telling myself I work today, but it's tomorrow. I work tomorrow. So I kept going, oh no, I gotta get ready for work after this. And I'm like, no, I don't. Ooh. Click. Yeah, that's the beast. That one. I have that one downloaded already. The Beauty Which Only the Beast Knows. I had planned on doing it the same day I did Touch Star, but Touch Star was almost 5 hours, so I did not do other demos that day. I was like, never mind. But also Touch Starved is now like on my list. I need that game. I need it. Royal didn't speak. He only stared at me with cold, hesitant eyes. I shared it twice. How could you? I don't know if I'm allowed to delete it. It's fine. We'll have the link twice. The contours of his face blurred completely, and I realized that the tears I had been trying to hold back were flowing down my cheeks. Oh. I have to stop crying. But no matter how hard I willed them to stop, the tears continued as more words tumbled out of my mouth. Do you know how hard it is to wait for someone who will never come back? For me, it was my father, then my mother. She left me during the time I needed her the most. Do you know how long I've waited for her to return? Trying to paste the other demo. Oh yeah, the Diffractions one. That one's on Steam for Diffraction, and then the Beauty Which Only the Beast Knows, that one, the link Asia's sharing, you can get the demo from that link specifically too. Except she never came back. But there's still hope that gold will return. That's why I choked on my words, sobbing. All the feelings that I locked inside were spilling out. I'd been struggling so hard to pretend that I was strong, that I can still move on without her. But I was wrong. I stumbled in surprise when Royal suddenly pulled me against him, his arms wrapping around me. Shh. I'm sorry. He squeezed me tighter. Oh. I'm sorry, you aren't the one at fault. I was mad at you for no reason. The truth is, I have been angry at myself since this curse began. I closed my eyes, enveloped in his warmth, and I cried even harder. Eventually I pulled away so I could look him in the eyes. You always have such a gloomy aura, as if you carry all the weight of the world on you. I'm ready to beat yo ass. Asia's out here getting ready to start a war. I don't know the burden you're carrying, but remember that you're not alone. You can lean on others every once in a while too, you know, that's what we're here for. Royal looked deep into my eyes. His pained expression was filled with shame and regret. How can I do that when the curse is my fault? My jaw dropped at his confession. Royal, what are you? Just when I thought that Royal had finally lowered his defenses and decided to confide in me, his expression stiffened, now rigid and cold. I didn't like that he was blaming her or acting like it was his fault, but I'm glad he said sorry. It's his first time apologizing, so... It was as though he reverted back to his old self. I need to clear my head for a bit. And then he just... whoop. He turned to leave, not giving me a chance to respond. I stayed where I was, staring at Royal's retreating figure, my mind whirled, still confused by his admission. What did he mean? I couldn't sleep that night. Royal's words kept replaying in my head. The curse was my fault. I had thought the reason he kept on apologizing to Gold was because he had broken their childhood promise that he would always protect her. There's diffraction. Diffraction looks gorgeous, by the way. Like, the art style on it is so pretty. He seemed to think the curse was caused by him. Because of him. Well, how is that possible? They were cursed by the toy maker because of their father's wickedness. If that were the case, where did Royal come into the picture? I shut my eyes and tried to come up with an answer, but no matter how hard I thought, nothing made sense. Not to mention that thinking too hard was making my head hurt. Wait a minute. Am I imagining things, or is that the heavy scent of pine? I got the Dark Knights on my wish list and saw the demo. I saw the video of Fujihara Bittersweet. Wait a second. Are you telling me there's more demos I need to download? What's Dark Knights? Asia's over here sending me links. Oh gosh, I gotta be careful. I've done this before where I've crashed my computer by doing that. Dark Knights. Otome. Oh, it knows me. Oh, they're both full games. Oh wait, I have Dark Knight on my list. That's fair. As soon as I clicked on it, I know this one. Fujihara Bittersweet. They are both full games and they are free. The list ever grows. The list continues to get longer and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. It's so long, guys. The list is so long. Fujihara looks adorable. What the heck? They're so cute. At this point, Asia needs her own vlog to announce new games and demos. Yeah, Asia needs to make that, and then she can have like a little like TikTok announcement kind of like thing. I might play Dark Knights after Errant Kingdom and Gilded Shadows. Ooh. I think I know Otome for like 8 years and I'm still catching up on on ones. Oh gosh. Here's the thing, right? I had so many Otome games. Like, I bought a Vita and I was only playing like Otome games on it when I had my Vita. And then I started buying them on my Switch, and then I was like, I'm not playing them. Which is why I was like, you know what? How about if I make myself stream them? It'll make me play them. But the list keeps growing. They just get longer. Ooh, I played them both and I really like them. Good luck, Leah. Thank you, Prim, because I need I need all the support I can get. Ugh, it's enough to make me cry. She's got heavy scent of pine in the air. I could have sworn I closed the window earlier. I opened my eyes and gasped when I realized I wasn't in my room anymore. In this route, she sleepwalks a lot. I was standing outside of the mansion. The orange sky was slowly bleeding to purple in the light of the setting sun. Oh, the devs of Intertwine announced an enhanced demo for their first game. Alaris? Oh. I follow a lot of devs on Tumblr. You need to make your own post though, like what's new this week? Asia knows. Just ask Asia. It won't let me copy that game name. Oh my gosh. I just keep adding things to my bookmark bar. Okay, done. Alaris, I hit the wrong button. You're gonna eventually hearing sounds because I'm clicking too many things. Alaris also looks adorable. What the heck? What is this? This looks so pretty. What the heck? Alaris is beautiful. This is so pretty. So many things I just keep adding to my bookmark bar. That's how I found more demos, and I found some devs that make their own first visual novel games. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of more Tomy games that I've played and nowhere near Asia's level, but I've played a few. Asia has found what she likes, and she has held it with both hands. How on earth did I get here? Is this a dream? This is the day everything started. I jolted in surprise when a voice beside me spoke. There stood a tall, beautiful woman wearing a ragged cloak. Her long blonde hair cascaded down her shoulders, and her hazel eyes gazed at me with gentleness and warmth. Her look was complete with teddy bear charm dangling from her belt. I watched more Atomi playthroughs than playing Atomi games. I just playing Atomi games in 2019 and 2020 just started playing. Honestly, everyone's got to start somewhere. I mean, I feel like you've played more than me, and I've been playing them for a while, but I'm just really bad at playing them. I knew who she was. You're the toy maker. Indeed. I had so many questions to ask as I opened my mouth. However, an angry voice interrupted me. What is a peasant doing near my house? A man that was standing by the porch spoke up. Hello. He was probably in his mid-40s with blonde hair and striking handsome features. He reminded me of Solon Dion, conveniently so, only with a dark aura surrounding him. That's Lord Deluxe. I couldn't quite believe I was witnessing the events of the past. I stared at him in awe. The past version of the toy maker stood in front of him holding 3 teddy bears, a large brown bear, a yellow one, and a small white one. They were all too familiar to me. I started playing instead of watching. It got me in a vice grip. I started playing visual novels on my laptop like 2 years ago. Goodness. Blooming panic was a kick in the gut. Oh. Oh, do I need to add that one to my list too? I just added 3 things to my list just now, guys. What is this? Night Owl Quest XYX Naked Toaster. Classic. XYX and Naked Toaster, my love. Oh goodness, alright. I've added it to the list, the ever-growing list. As a reminder, we just talked about in our little Discord that I have 4 games already lined up. We've got Tengoku Struggle, we have Cupid Parasite, we have, or sorry, Radiant Tell, then Cupid Parasite, then the new Radiant Tell, and then the new Cupid Parasite. No, wait, it's backwards. I'm obsessed with them. Oh, are they a them? Oh. I'm not seeing anything about their gender. Oh. By them, you just meant those two, huh? My bad. Error 143 was a cute short one, too. Y'all. Oh, hang on. I can't put numbers in here. Just kidding. I almost ruined our lives. If I hit numbers, it it does my triggers. I have to figure that one out. My bad. I was watching the devs making their next game on Steam. Oh. Oh, 143 is beautiful. That person is gorgeous. What the heck? Okay. The voice acting was yummy. Oh. They don't always give you voice acting, which is great. Seeing them like chilling in a room, it gives a date with death kind of vibes. I see. It was mobile first. I see. He's a little. I don't know what's your rival hacker. Oh, he's hacked you back. Okay, so this guy. Claws and fangs. It's great. I like it. They were all too similar to me. Please. It's getting dark and it would be dangerous for me to travel alone in the forest during the night. I don't have any money and these are all I have. Angered by the toy maker's offer, Lord Deluxe slapped her hands away and scattered the toys across the ground. I have no need of such things. Leave now or you'll suffer the consequences. After his wife died, he drowned himself with work. I looked at the toy maker beside me, who was watching the event somberly. As a result, he became obsessed with power and money. He lost sight of the good man he once was. A Date with Death and Blooming Panic is like chat sim visual novels. I know 3 other visual novels like that. A Date with Death was super funny. Like, I laughed the whole way through because of how quick the responses were. So, like, having a little chat feature really made it really fun. I was hoping that was going to be what we had in Sympathy Kiss because it showed, like, the chat logs. I was like, oh my god, we're going to have so much fun chatting with these boys. And instead, our girl talked with emotes. Excuse me, Leah, do you know of Dandelion Wishes brought to you or Nameless, the one thing you must recall? I know I have Dandelion on my list. I'm not sure about Nameless. Let's see. I can spell. Oh, this one looks like, I think I have this one on my list too. Yeah. I have that one on my list on Steam. Yuri Man. Yeah, that one's on my list. Lori and Lance, my love. There's just so many. The list goes on and on. It hurts my feelings how many games I want to play. Sobs, everyone is my love. That's good. It's not every game that you like every route. Blue says, Asia, you have the same taste as me. Fulvus Iris got an angel. Oh. To add this one now. The I love yous for Salvus is my taste. Oh, okay. Let me search that one now too. Well, that's just cute looking. What the heck? Indie's dev Rose Milk Studio launched a Kickstart campaign for their upcoming indie Atomi game, Salvis Ares. Salvis Ares is a mature slice of death and adventure fantasy Atomi style game beginning with a bad ending to start. You mean like Verche? Oh, the boys look so cute. What the heck? Wait, are they all Reapers? Oh no, there's an angel, 3 Reapers, 4 Reapers and an angel. Classy. Oh, this has voice actors. Wait, they have voice actors? I won't go horse playing that game. Plot twist. It's got a demo. Also, there's a demo for the glass dude. I need Zaphine's demo. Royal Order, and you can romance a girl. Wait. Hang on. I should just like have the thing open to my search bar right now. Royal Order by Nifty Visual. Oh, that one looks so cute too. What the heck? Salves Pirates of the Utmost North features customizable protagonist, appearance, pronouns, and names. 3 romantic love interests, 2 males, 1 female. And then you're adorable. Wait a second. Oh no, wait, that's the romantic girl. Okay. So the romantic girl has a brother, right? Is that what I'm reading? I know a couple of visual novels you can date a girl. Royal Order is on my list. Interesting. Salvis Ares has a demo. All right, well, we're almost done with this game, she said, hopefully. And then we could do the 2 demos I already downloaded, and if it's still early, maybe we'll just download one of these other demos, like the one for Salvis Ares, which looks adorable, and see how long it'll take to do the demo. Some visual novels got 2 MCs, a boy or a girl. I like it when they do that because then they can do the art, right? So when you get to customize your character, what that tells me, unfortunately, as someone who plays way too many Atomi games, it means that your character is not going to show up in any of the CGs. That's all it tells me. They're like, you can customize your character. Shh, they are not going to be in the CGs. They're not there. That means all the CGs will have maybe something spicy, but like there's going to be nothing of you involved in it. I want to see stuff. All right. He became obsessed with power and money. He lost sight of the good man he once was. Was he actually good, though? Like, if you can give up on your family so fast. Salvis Ares is a long demo, especially Callum's demo is long, too. The devs added Callum's demo, like, a month ago. Here's the thing. I'll do the 2 I have downloaded. I'll download more demos. And then we have free days, like today, where there's nothing to stream because we beat Sympathy's Kiss early. Then we can do it again, and I'll do some more demos, or on the weekends. It's okay. I don't mind if a demo's long. It's fun. Sometimes. I looked at this scene again, and I gasped when I saw a young version of Royal run outside the house and pick up the teddy bears. He looked nothing like the Royal I knew, so innocent and vulnerable. Leave those alone, you brat. The young Royal stepped back, the teddy bears clutched to his chest. I could clearly see how shaken with fear, but did you not hear me, child? Your selfishness and wickedness has gone too far, and for that you shall suffer the consequences. It is not right to curse the entire house and make everyone suffer. They tried to like make sense of it in Beauty and the Beast, the live action, where they're like, it's our faults too, because we saw how bad his dad was and we did nothing. I'm like, you were not in the position to do anything. His dad was a king. You were a servant. If you did something, you probably would have had some really bad consequences. You shouldn't be punished for that. You could have kidnapped the child, sure, but if you actually spoke out, you were not gonna get far. So the fact that she curses the entire house is a bit intense. Enjoy what you still have today, for it will be all gone tomorrow. She could have, like, made him live in a tower by himself. Like, the Lord shot her a deadly glare. 3 children, all of whom share the same blonde hair, peeked behind him. I immediately recognized who they were. Father, what's going on here? Brother, I think we should go back inside. Young Soul clearly looked scared while he tugged on his brother's shirt. Teddy bears! The youngest daughter happily pointed at the teddy bears Royal was holding. Dion, take your siblings back to their rooms now. Ooh. His voice was cold and firm. Yes, father. Young Dion quickly took their hands and ushered them inside. Wait. Young Gold broke free from Dion's grasp and ran to the toy maker. She gave her a sweet smile before handing her a beautiful red rose. For you. Let's go now, Gold. This time, Dion pulled his sister with him and the siblings disappeared inside. Imagine all that. And then she curses those children that did absolutely nothing wrong except be raised by a monster. No, you lost me. The Lord let out an exasperated sigh before turning his attention back to Royal. Take her out of my sight, boy. But my lord. Now. Without another word, Royal took the toymaker's hand and pulled her away from the mansion. She didn't protest, instead letting him lead her silently. The scent blurred, and then we saw standing at the entrance of the forest, Royal handing the bears back to the toymaker. I'm sorry, ma'am, but you must leave now before my lord gets angry with me. The toymaker from the past gazed back at the mansion with a sad face. Tomorrow the Deluxe family will be no more. I was about to say something. I'm gonna say quiet. I just thought another visual novel. It's got only 2 routes. Alright, Asia. What visual novel route has only 2 routes? Go on, tell me. The surroundings turned black, leaving me and the toymaker alone. I slumped onto the ground. A realization dawned on me. The reason why Royal blames himself was because he was the one who was ordered to send you away. And that is why the curse isn't completely broken. A warm sensation burned in my chest. I quickly pulled out the locket to find it impossibly warm. I gasped. It was darkened. We're gonna skip this part because all she's gonna say is that it's tarnished. It was a parting disc. Different curse your mother. Wanted to give the Lord time to think about his mistakes. Remember the barrier. There's a reason why you're trapped here. The reason was why most of the household died. Died. She admits she's just a straight up murderer. This woman here is a murderer. It's also got short DLC, but it's nothing spoiler to the main story. Garden of Sief? Is that it? Sief? Add another game. Wait, did I not add this one to my list yet? I didn't add this one to my list. Oh, it was another Kickstarter Atomi game. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't try to open Steam. I'm just trying to avoid that. I'm not sorry. First off, I know, Asia, you have no remorse. You yourself are a tsundere. I get that. It's 1999. Dust Hunter looks cute. I will like it. Anger surged inside of me. That was the reason why they were trapped here. The reason why most of the household died. Why did you have to do that? Do you know how many lives were taken because of that? Because you suck? Toymaker frowned. The barrier I cast was only to prevent the Lord Deluxe himself to leave the mansion, and yet it killed everybody else, so... Because of his anger and selfishness, he wanted to keep everyone in the mansion with him. So wait a second. And so the harmless barrier I cast turned into a deadly one. I'm calling it. That's stupid. You're a liar. I opened my mouth to say something, but no words came out. How much more lives will be ruined because of the Lord Deluxe sins? Cough, YouTube. Cough, the game I recommend. Cough, please check it out. They deserve attention. The thing is, Asia, you just recommended 17 games. I don't know which one you want highlighted. I opened my mouth to say words, but nothing came out. How much more lives will be ruined because of the deluxe sins? Now I felt more determined to help end this curse in order to free everyone from their pain. Tell me, how do we break the curse? All of them. The curse was supposed to break once the locket came near Gold's room, but it seems something has interrupted it. What do you mean? It's pure metal, yada yada yada. Alright, I know who was troubled, but still Royal wants to see Gold, so why would he make such a wish? The person needs to change of heart in order to break the curse. What can I do to help him? I honestly didn't know what I could do. I know this is a small game. I know it's like indies. But I feel like the fact that this part of the story is always the same in each route, where it's like this one person doesn't want something to change. Could have been different in each route. Like there could have been one where they didn't want something to change. The second one, we could skip this whole thing where it's just she doesn't go to Gold's room for so long because they don't trust her to be in Gold's room because they think maybe she's a spy, because that was a thought at one point. I feel like maybe if she had the same hair color as the toy maker, they could be like, maybe she's related to the toy maker. Maybe her knowing Rua was actually just a coincidence because she is the toy maker's child. You know. Royal had lowered his defenses with me only once, and I doubt that it would happen again. The toy maker looked at me and gave me a weary smile. Her image was slowly evaporating into the darkness. To break the curse, forgiveness must be obtained. That is the only answer I can give. He also has his ears pierced. That means, like, he's just a little boy with his ears pierced. After my encounter with the toy maker, it felt like I had reached a dead end. How can Royal obtain Gold's forgiveness when Gold herself remains a lifeless doll? I roamed around the halls as I tried to think of a way to solve the dilemma. What am I supposed to do now? I couldn't just hide behind Gold and pretend to forgive Royal for her, could I? She's like, I forgive you! Did it work? Is he okay? This way. I was startled as I heard a familiar voice echoing from the library. Gold? I dashed into the library. There I found a faint image of a little girl with golden locks standing beside a certain bookshelf. She pointed at it before she completely disappeared. Gold must have hidden something here. Maybe it could help me break the curse. With so many books neatly placed on the shelf, I was pretty sure it would take me a while, especially when I had no idea what I was looking for in the first place. You should have at least given me a clue or something. She pointed you at the shelf, man. With a heavy sigh, I looked at the shelves, determined to find whatever it was that she needed me to find. Now... Oh no. Oh wait, do I have my cheat sheet still? Top part. Okay. Might as well start from the top. I checked the books from the top part, but I couldn't find anything at all. There was nothing special tucked away in any of the books. Finally down to my last one. Sighing, I scrolled at the titles of the dusty book in my hand. How to grow roses successfully. Considering how beautiful the rose garden is, I don't think they have much use for this book. Slightly curious, I opened it and gasped at something inside nearly fell out. I caught it in my hand, and it was a pressed rose with a note on a long stem. One word was written on it. Smile. Is this what Gold wanted me to find? Hey. I jumped when I heard his familiar voice, but forgot that I was still standing on a ladder. Get Aura. Just constantly falling off of things. She's so clumsy. I tried to hold onto the shelf to regain my balance, but instead I only pulled it down with me. Look at these bookshelves. She's dead. This is how she dies. This is a weird ending. With my heart in my throat, the last thing I saw was the shelf looming dangerously over me before I slipped into darkness. Stop jump scaring us! That's all he knows. Aura. He's calling my name. Aura! When I opened my eyes, my head was throbbing with pain. As my eyes finally adjusted, the first thing I saw was Royal's worried face. He looked like he was about to cry. I must have hit my head too hard because there is no way I'd ever see Royal like this if it was a minor bump. Let me yell, "Hey!" while someone's still on a ladder. Just scream like, there's a bug over there while someone's on a ladder. Like, let's not. Stop scaring people. My hands automatically reached for my head, feeling the bandages that wrapped around me. Ow. I did hit my head too hard. I tried recalling what had happened before I blacked out. An image of Gold flashed in my mind. Remembering Gold, I quickly sat up and frantically searched for the book, not relaxing until I realized that it was cradled in my arms. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? Screaming at me like that? I'm so fragile. Royal's expression shifted from concern to anger, but his signature glare was somehow different. I couldn't help but apologize anyways. My bad. You were such a troublemaker. So are you. It was as though he was trying to reprimand me, but there was an unfamiliar softness to it that he only ever seemed to use when he talked to Gold. I wanted to say something, but the words were caught in my throat. Royal's behavior caught me by surprise. His usual bullying far outweighed the few times his expressed genuine kindness. His contradictory attitude confused me. When I saw that shelf fall over you, when I saw that you were going to get hurt, I didn't know what to do. I'm actually made of steel, you know? I won't break that easily. Look at me. That's not me at all, actually. I hurt myself without even realizing it until the pain starts. I attempted to joke to ease the tension in the atmosphere, but Royal only squeezed my hand tighter. I thought I would lose you as well. My heart went wild. Royal, there's the soup you wanted for... Lily froze by the door when she saw us. I could feel myself blushing and tried to yank my hand away, but still he refused to let go. Thank you, just place it on the table. Sure. Lily obediently left the soup on the table and quickly walked out, but not before casting me a mischievous smile that only made my face burn hotter. Royal, your hand. Why is that book so important to you? You refused to let it go even while you were asleep. Royal turned back to me, completely ignoring my words. Royal's eyes widened as he looked at the item I showed him. He gingerly took the flower and let her from me, a faint smile dancing on his lips. Really? Is this the smile? Is this the smile we've been waiting for? I gave this to Gold back when she had been so upset because of all the roses she was taking care of had wilted. I have only scrolled through games I've played and questioned why I play such sad stories. Hang on, it cut off. Yeah, sob stories. You know they're popular. We always want a little sadness in our romance. I told her it wasn't her fault and that it was because the weather had been bad that season, so she shouldn't blame herself for what happened. I finally understood why Gold wanted me to find it. Isn't that the same for you? Royal looked puzzled at first, but his face slowly darkened in understanding. I told him about my encounter with the toy maker and witnessing the events of the past with her. I wasn't sure if he would ever believe everything I told him, but as I finished, his face twisted in surprise. Bustafella sold 100k copies, Sidekick Beyond coming to the Switch, only Japanese. Whoa, you mean the sequel? Wait, do I have that over here? Oh, it was the first one in the line. Look at that. Shimmer, 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 shimmer. It looks so cocky on the inside. Shimmer, 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 shimmer. Oh, there's gonna be a crossover with sidekicks. I don't have sidekicks. Wait, that's not real. Only it's in the US. But I have Bustafellows. And so many other games I haven't played that makes me want to cry. I wasn't sure if he would even believe everything I told him, but as I finished, his face twisted in surprise. Sidekicks is not localized because they hate us, specifically. I'm actually surprised Bustafellow sold 100k copies. That's a lot for an Atomi game. How old is Bustafellows? They do hate us. Confirmed. If Asia says it, it must be true because Asia knows everything. If only I had the courage to help that woman, we wouldn't have been in this situation. Everyone would still be here and Gold wouldn't have to suffer. It was Gold who wanted me to find this. I think she wants to give this to you for the same reason you gave this to her. No matter how much you wanted to change the past, the outcome would still be the same. Localized Bustafellow Season 2 and Sidekicks, you a-holes. Asia says ever politely, who makes Bustafellows? Is it Access? It's Access. Oh wait, that's PO4E. Oh wait, who is this? P-Cube? P-Cube? Wait, I don't know. I'm not. This is P-Cube. I'm not used to this, so tell me. P-Cube. Yeah. I was gonna say we have the Idea Factory event coming up soon. Maybe if it was theirs, they might announce it, but they can't. It's not theirs. Hang on, let me search P-Cube. I haven't searched P-Cube before. I'm so used to Access and Idea Factory, I didn't even... accept. Oh, Potion Permit. Hey, I own that game. Tristine. Oh, White Day 2. I played White Day 1, just for the record, and I never beat it because I hated it. Not like in a bad way. Not in a bad way. In a bad way, I hated it. Because the AI came after you so often. All the talk about Atomi games and demos did not help my urge to make one myself. Rip. Actually, Asia, you always talk about those collab things where they make Atomi games in a short amount of time. That's something Prim should look into. And that's because the problem lied with Lord Locks, not you, my guy. Please, stop blaming yourself. You're not a monster. You were just raised by one. Game jams. Yeah, that's what you should look into, Prim, is the game jams. Because maybe you can join a party and help make a game together. Royal squeezed the notes in his hand, his body trembling. A single tear rolled down his cheek. My heart swelled knowing that Royal had finally gotten Gold's message for him. There's a lot of game jams on Itch.io. I absentmindedly played with my locket hearing a soft crack as I did so. I just remembered another game called Hustle Cat. The love interest turned into cats. It's like the opposite of the cat game for the Switch. The female love interest. There's a female love interest. Hank, Cat, Castle Cat. I appreciate you guys trying to find me a game with a female love interest because it's the thing I want the most. It's on Steam for $19.99. Nice. Oh my god, that looks so cute. What the heck? Let's see. Darn, I tried. Well, that one's on my list now. I would join a game jam, but I am not mentally prepared to talk to others. I feel that, Prim. I absent-mindedly played with a locket, hearing a soft crack as I did so. Actually, there's someone else. Hang on. Tarp? Tarp likes to make Atomi games. I think, right? Because Tarp was sharing art that they had made for their stuff too. me check my list that has female love interest. I love the idea that Asia has like the biggest, not word, but like Excel sheet there is with all these different tabs. And she's like, let me filter my tabs. All right. She's like, Moody, got it. Sundere, got it. And she's all like, Yondere, blocked. My heart. This is... Without thinking, I jumped up and ran towards Gold's room, ignoring Royal's protest. Gold sat in her usual place, her lovely blue eyes staring at me unexpectantly. She still looked so beautiful and surreal. I swallowed hard, and with trembling hands, I placed the locket around her neck. A golden light embraced her and quickly surged out towards the rest of the room. I blinked a few times as the light blinded my eyes. As my vision cleared, I saw a beautiful young lady standing in front of me. I'm gonna put it in the Discord. I got y'all. Are you... Thank you very much, Miss Aura, for giving me my heart back. Aura, what do you think your... Royal stopped when he saw her. His face was a mixture of surprise and joy upon finally seeing that Gold was human again. More loud footsteps followed Royal's, and soon everyone had piled into the room. What's with that light just now? Gold smiled sweetly at everyone, tears streaming down her cheeks. Because this girl was put through a torturous state for 7 years. She has been awake in her own head, but she cannot move. Like, this person didn't do them any favors. I'm still brainstorming my story. I was bouncing my ideas with a friend, and they told me to make more characters. They're inhibiting me. I think what you need to start with is just keep it simple and like beginning, middle, end, and then start adding the characters in it, and then that way you can create the branches. Like, how does it play into the end and how does it play in at the beginning? Start with a simple one. Do a single route Otome game. It's okay. Everyone, I'm back. Gold's like, I'm here, guys. Got you. Gold rushed to her family, and all of them wrapped her into a tight embrace. My heart burst with happiness as I watched the family reunite. Their curse was finally lifted, and all it took was me. I did it. A few days had passed since Gold became human again. The house has been bustling with activity since then. They've been trying to catch up after all these years of not being able to speak with her. There had apparently been a conflict between Sol and Dion that I wasn't aware of, but now that Gold was here, they were able to settle it for her sake. Things were finally back to normal for them, and it wouldn't be long before everyone found out that the deluxe curse had been lifted. I smiled in contentment as I watched them interact with each other, laughing and crying over the afternoon tea. I was so glad that their nightmare was over and that they could go on with their lives at last. A sudden sadness swept over me. That meant I had to go on with my life as well. I didn't have a reason to stay here anymore. As I finished placing a few more desserts on the table, I caught sight of Royal smiling at Gold. My chest felt heavy as I recalled how hard I attempted to get him to laugh, yet Gold's mere presence was enough to make him smile so genuinely. It was something only she could do. I bit my lip. It was as though I was so far away from them now that Gold had come back. Then again, I was the outsider here in the first place. I reached for my chest while the aching feeling of jealousy, willing the aching feeling of jealousy to go away. Royal's eyes met mine. I gave him the best smile I could muster before turning to leave the room, empty platter in tow. I already have 3 characters. I was going to add one more as a secret route, considering this is based off my D&D world. 4 characters is nothing. So the secret route's a vampire, right? Right? That's why it's a secret, because you have to go into a cave to find them. I was walking down the hallway when I heard Royal call for me. Aura. I stopped and took a deep breath before facing him. What is it? Did I do something wrong again? I tried to sound like I was joking, but I sounded pretty bitter. It would have worked if only my voice hadn't cracked. Is something bothering you? It was weird hearing him ask me that. He had never been so concerned about my feelings before. Sorry, I was just thinking that I'll probably be leaving soon. now that everything's back to normal. You're probably relieved to hear that I won't be here to bother you anymore. But just the thought of leaving this place I had called home for so long, for the last few months, hurt. Idiot, do you really think that I want you to leave? Royal walked closer towards me and bent forward, closing the distance between us. I instinctively backed away. This would usually be one of the times he wouldn't hit me, but instead I felt his soft lips touch my forehead. My heart started hammering against my chest. Whoa, 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 ectogamut, never without my permission. What was that for? Royal gazed at me, his cheeks slightly red. His lips curved into a small smile, a smile that I had thought was only reserved for gold. My heart skipped a beat. Royal, where did you go? That voice. My heart sank. You have to go, Gold is looking for you. Royal opened his mouth as if he was about to say something, but I quickly cut him off. Go on. I forced a smile and then I left. I ran away that night. In the middle of the night, I ran out the window just so they couldn't find me. If you would like to know, then it would spoil the story. I feel like you would like them a lot, so... So what you're saying is once it's done, I get to play the game. I'm ready. My mind was set. I was going to go and fulfill my dream of becoming a chef. It hurt to leave everyone, but I didn't have a place here anymore. Everyone had asked me to stay, even Royal, but I had already made up my decision. I had just finished cleaning the room that I had stayed in for months. I hadn't brought anything with me. My bags had been left behind somewhere in the forest, so packing wasn't a problem at all. Miss Maria did allow me to take some of her clothes. I looked around my room one last time. I'm really gonna miss this place. There was a soft knock and Gold popped her head into the room. Miss Aura, may I? Sure, please, just call me Aura, it's fine. Gold stepped inside, fiddling her fingers nervously. She's like, hey, I have a story to tell you. Are you really going to leave us? Everyone has done so much for me. I'm truly thankful for that, but I can't stay here anymore, Gold. But it's the other way around. If it wasn't for you, the curse would have never been broken. I owe you my life, Aura. I waved my hands in front of me, embarrassed by her words. You don't owe me anything at all. An awkward silence fell over us because apparently this wasn't going the way we thought it would. How about Royal? You can't just leave him, can you? My chest tightened. Royal and I have never been on good terms with each other. But then I remembered what Royal had said before and about wanting me to stay. Gold walked towards me and took my hand in hers, her eyes shining with determination. The heart does not lie, Aura. I know how you feel about him. My heart had spent quite some time near yours due to the curse after all. I opened my eyes to protest, but the loud thumping in my chest insisted she was right and that I couldn't deny it anymore. I was in love with Royal because he's a royal pain. If it ever comes out in years since I'm a lazy potato, it would be a waste not to make one though because he's so pretty and his long hair and eyes. Usually using this as bait. Okay, long hair, you got me. What's his eyes got going for him? Tell me now. It just sounds like you should every day, 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, then 30 minutes, work on it. You'll get there. This is coming from also a lazy potato who, if I open a document I have on my computer, I have like 20 stories that I have not finished, but I have wrote the premise for, and I have wrote the character names, and I have like half wrote a chapter. The most I've gotten is 100 pages in one of them, and I haven't touched it in a while, unfortunately. And that one I have had in my head for 10 years at least, I feel like. I have one I've been writing since I was like a teenager. So, you know, I have a book. I bought this book at a Goodwill, trying to motivate myself. This is the year you write your novel. And it hasn't worked. So I know the struggles. Hi, I'm familiar. I was in love with Royal, but his heart belonged to her. I don't want Royal to be sad again. Not after he finally found someone he really cares about. He cares about you, Gold. He's in love with you, Gold. It's impossible. It's obvious you're the one he loves. Gold gave me a look as though I had just said the most absurd thing in the world. Let's just say they have eyes that are unique with long, long lashes. Okay, do they look like Gojo? Tell me now. You got it wrong, Aura. Royal did tell me once that he wanted to marry me when we were young, but that was the past. And what feelings he had for me isn't love, but guilt. That's not true. You don't have to lie, game. I've seen how he looks at you. You can say he used to be in love with me, but I can tell now that he loves you and not me anymore. Like, that's fine. I didn't even think of that. He kinda, yeah. The same way Lily looks at Big Brother's soul. I couldn't help but feel embarrassed, yet as part of me didn't want to believe her. Royal was so dedicated to Gold that I doubted his feelings would change just like that. And they might not. You can fall in love. It's okay. I jumped when I noticed that Royal was standing by my door. Speak of the devil, why is he here? Excuse me, I am talking to Goldilocks right now. Do you need to talk to Gold? Royal looked at me seriously. I need to talk to you, Aura. Gold gave me a triumphant smile as if telling me that she was right before scampering out of the room to leave us alone. She's like, I did it, go for it. However, once in the hallway, she paused and smiled at Royal. Royal, you now have a new princess to protect. I do. Oh, Royal answered her without hesitation, and he walked towards me. Is this the second? He did kiss her in the hallway, right? That did happen. I didn't imagine that. I wasn't having a fever dream. That did happen. I gasped when I felt his warm, soft lips on mine. Damn, boy. Like, is it Black Butler that makes me think this is attractive? I don't know. He gave her forehead kiss in the hallway. Okay. All too soon he had pulled away, cheeks flushed. I was sure that my face must have matched his in color. I told myself a long time ago that I would no longer let myself get close to anyone. I closed my heart because I was afraid of losing someone important to me again. The more I cared about others, the more I did, the more I'd be hurting when I lost them. But when it came to you, it was just so difficult to keep my vow. You constantly got on my nerves and didn't know when to give up. Then I found myself drawn to you. Classic. Royal. Oh, at this point, I'll just post him in the Discord. I have no word to describe this man. I need to join the server. Actually, the server is linked officially on the page, so you can find it on Twitch in the link section. I might... Every time I try to remember how to link it, I get confused. Let's see. I think that's it. Did I do it? That's the link to the Discord if you'd like to join, I think. Wait, am I in the wrong Discord? Oh god. No, I'm in the right Discord. It was just showing my friends. I got scared. Look at the Discord under Atomi. Oh, okay. Visual novels that got female love interest. Errant Kingdom, When the Night Comes and Calls Me Under demo. Take Me or Leaf Me, very short game. Moonstone Remix, Ochi Chat, The Radiance, one female love interest. Cute Demon Crashers, one female love interest, and Very Spicy. Oh my. Typing so much. Even after Twisting Secret, still in development. Crime City Orpheus, still in development. Arcadia Fallen. Maid Marian, female love interest route gonna be in the developments after our love interest. Keepers of Asterial. Speakeasy, one female love interest, and Poly route. Atherian Ruba Plena demo and one female love interest. Our life now and forever. Asia, this goes on forever. Andromeda 6, 7 episodes out for now, 2 female love interest. Mythic Meetup, 2 female love interest. One of them is Ace. Oh, why am I reading it? Why wouldn't I read it? What are you embarrassed about? Everyone on YouTube can see this list now. Our Life Now and Forever, Andromeda, Mythic Meetup, Trouble Came Twice. Play as a brother or sister, both got the same love interest. Okay, 2 female love interest. First Bite sounds like it has vampires in it. Love Shore, Hustle Cat, Ember Fate, and Good People. Domain Mathis, Saints Spell, Love Guide. Oh, Andromeda 6 is a slow development. Interesting. So, First Bite has vampires? But wait a second, I have 2. First Bite has a DLC, and yep, vampires. Oh my gosh. Vampires are yummy. In a sense, they are yummy, but we are yummy to them, thus we get along well. Is it okay for me to be selfish just this once? Sometimes I just want to keep you to myself and never let you go. That reminds me, Asia, this is there's another vampire game, it's only got a demo. Okay, what's that one called? Deep down I already knew the answer. I'll look for it. Idiot, you don't have to ask because I might end up being even more selfish, bro. Get another CG? No. Taking biting, my love language to another level. Here, like, biting is my love language. Listen, hear me out. I was once against pursuing my dream to become a chef, but I was no longer alone. I now had Royal by my side. He had given up his role as a deluxe butler to come fulfill my dream with me. This could be the best ending. Because she leaves. She actually gets to fulfill her dream. It had been a rough start, but with the deluxe support, we were finally able to open a small restaurant. What do you think? He's wearing normal clothes. Today was Gold's 18th birthday. I don't know how I feel about their ages in this game. Because they were cursed for 7 years. Which means they cursed a 10-year-old. Like, multiple 10-year-olds. Today was Gold's 18th birthday, and they had asked me to provide the food for their guest. Hey, okay, making sure. It would also be a good opportunity to showcase what our restaurant had to offer. Too sweet. Oh ho 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 ho, his little steak eyes. I made sure that I got the measurements right. What did I go wrong? Royal laughed. I was only kidding, it's perfect. Oh ho ho, I pouted. You're being mean to me again. I can't help it. You're cute when you're flustered. See, just like that. Idiot. Dummy. Rude. Oh, Royal leaned in and kissed me. I knew it. Knew what? You taste sweet. Sweeter than the cake. I hate it here. I forgot that I bookmarked another vampire demo. You hate it here? like, why? Because we like talking about Otome games with you? That's so messed up. Asia's gonna share another list. It's gonna be all the vampire Otome games or monster Otome games. There's a few of those too. The Riz, right? Who knew you'd be so smooth when you started off at like 11 being cursed and now you're a teenager and you have so much Riz. I don't understand. My face burned at his words. Royal. Royal laughed again. He moved vibrant now. Nothing like the old grumpy bear I had met a year ago. The deluxe curse had changed my life so much. I wouldn't have met Royal, not to mention everyone who had helped me along the way, if I hadn't stumbled upon their mansion. And now I'm looking forward to making more wonderful memories with the person I love. Best end. Tenebrae demo, also vampires. Okay, I can post it. I'll spoil it just in case. Don't spoil. Alright, so now we gotta get the other ending. I'm gonna see if I can load, like, right at the end and not switch so many of my answers. Maybe just a couple answers. Let's try. I started looking for the gold wanted me to find, and there was nothing special in any of the books at all. What am I even supposed to look for anyways? I sighed until I slumped. What are you doing? I had been so focused on my task that I didn't notice Royal come into the room. He was staring hard at the pile of books on the floor, obviously irritated. And I had just cleaned the library today. Sorry, I was looking for something. Royal walked towards me, crossing his arms. Why, was it so important that you have to mess up this shelf? I remembered Gold pointing at this shelf. Yes, I'll clean up when I'm done, so don't worry about it, Mr. Grumpy Bear. Something hard struck my head. That hurt! I cried out as I massaged my aching head. I stared at the book that had fallen out. Oh. A cryptic message takes the young vampire to Tenebrae's nightclub, where 7 incarnations of deadly sins will stand in her way. Now she has to survive among intrigues and solve the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Those... That's the premise. Look at William. Look at his hair. Look at Savon. Okay. I like them all. When I mean spoil, I mean just blurring it because I'm not confident on my art. It's posted in the art channel. Ooh, okay. More vampires. You must be 18. Yeah, I'm 18. Bite me. Oh, long for the world filled with dark and twisted vampires. Want a glimpse of our alluring people of color, queer, and trans characters. Interesting. Jadu looks really pretty. Syrian, also pretty. Hyatt. Am I saying these names wrong? This is also gorgeous. Alright. Stare at the book, How to Grow Flowers Successfully. I took the book in my hand, noticing a small gap between the pages. Unfortunately, it wasn't fully funded. Oh no. What is the problem with things on Kickstarter? They don't always get funded. I opened the book and there I found a pressed rose with a note that had the word smile on it. Could this be what Gold wanted me to find? Royal's eyes widened as he looked at the book and the item I found. He gingerly took the flower and letter from me, a faint smile dancing on his lips. I gave this to Gold back when she had been so upset because all the roses she was taking care of wilted. I told her wasn't her fault and that it was because the weather was bad. I understood why Gold wanted me to find it. This is the same for you. Royal looked puzzled. I told him about my encounter. I wasn't sure if he would ever believe anything I told him as I finished, his face twisted in surprise. If only I had the courage to help that woman, he wouldn't be in this situation. Everyone would have still been here and Gold wouldn't have suffered. It was Gold who wanted me to find this. I think she wanted to give this to you as the same reason you gave it to her. No matter how much you want to change what happened in the past, the outcome would still be the same. Because the problem lied with Lord Deluxe, not you. Please stop blaming yourself. Please. Royal squeezed the note in his hand. His body trembled. A single tear rode down his cheek. My heart swelled knowing that Royal had finally gotten Gold's message for him. I absent-mindedly played with my locket, hearing a soft crack as I did. My heart. This is... Drumroll. Alright, did we do it? Did we do enough? Do I need to do more? In the end, I decided to stay at the Deluxe mansion with Royal. Oh, what the heck? She doesn't get to adventure in this one. Vampires are the reason I thrive, my lifeline. Honestly, I gotta blame everything I've ever seen in TV since a young age. I watched Interview with a Vampire at a way too young an age. I had to survive through Twilight. Twilight was not my favorite vampire story, but it was there. What else? What else? There's so many. Technically all the other ones, the TV shows. In the end, I decided to stay at the Deluxe mansion. Don't tempt me to make another list that involves the vampires, visual novels, and boys' love. Do it! I dare you! Make another list. You should make a list and post them on like Insta. And like have like, here's a cute picture of all the games that fit in this. And then you can have like, where to find them. At this moment, the most important thing for me was to always stay by his side. How dare you? You know I will do it. I'm so sorry, Asia. Do you not already have a list of over 150 games handwritten in your own hand? Like, what do you want? After cooking tonight's meal and cleaning up, I decided to stay in the garden to admire the view of the countless stars that were dancing in the sky. Mother, I'm sorry for not becoming the best chef in the world, but I'll make sure to be the best chef for the Deluxe family. A pair of strong arms suddenly wrapped around me from behind. I was ensnared in Royal's tight embrace. Is something wrong? Royal snuggled closer, his breath tickled my neck. Oh my. Nothing, I just want to hold you. I laughed. What? I still can't get used to you being so sweet. Why would you prefer me to be grumpy? I smiled and placed my hand over his. Truthfully, I don't care which side of you that you show me, because in the end, you're still the same Royal that I love. I thought over how I had ended up here. It was because I had been chasing a dream. I used to be so focused on becoming the best chef that I wasted time whining about my obstacles when I first arrived. Eventually, I completely forgot about it. Maybe it's because I had been alone for so long that it felt good to be a part of a family again, even if it was only going to just be for a short while. I realized that I had been chasing after a false dream all this time, because what I really wanted was simply to find a place where I could belong. You could want two things. And I finally found it. Boo. There he is! He's there now! Look at all the grumpy children. Image not found, it says, which is fine, I guess. Woohoo! I think it would have been cute if in every route her dress was different, since Soul makes her dress. Missing anything? No. Missing anything? No. I will say I think Royal had the best story out of the three. Asia, are you going to play this one yourself? Wonderful question. So angry all the time. Probably my favorite out of them all. I don't know. This one. This is all so surprising. I just like when you fall off a ladder and you end up in a guy's arms. Classic. Oh, wait, I messed up. I messed that up. I don't know if this freezes my face when I do this, but I'm just taking a screenshot. It might. Okay. April 4th is a Thursday. Yes. So I'm gonna play Jack and Jean. I was gonna send a message to Ray as well and see if Ray would like to do one of the stories with me that I have that are girl-centric, because I think they're one story through, so maybe we can do it one day. Otherwise, I'll be doing Jack Jean unless I find another short story. So it's one of the two things. But Jack Jean, I still haven't finished one route on. I feel so bad for Jack Jean because it's not bad. I struggled so hard for a little bit on it. Alright, let's see. Let's quit that. I'll take my little frame away. Do I know what my frame is? There we go. And then Jack Jean is too long. I know, and I haven't finished a single route yet. Like, I would love to work on Jack Jean just to try and get like through at least one route. Like I was struggling so hard. And I felt so bad because someone had commented on one of my videos going, "Are you gonna play Jack Jean again?" And I was all like, "Yes, I am. I just don't know when." Look at the Discord for Atome. Okay, while diffraction opens. Actually, it might need to open Steam for diffractions to open. There it goes. All right, while diffraction's opening, open. But don't crash anything. Please. I beg of you. All right. Here's Asia's list of Vampire Atome games. First Bite, Bite Me, When the Night Comes, Changeling, Carnival of Shadows, Reanimated Heart by Jack, Tenebrae, Till We Can Hold Hands, and Bat Chiller. Get it? You just forgot another one. Oh, goodness. But yes, thank you for joining me today. If you're seeing this outro and you're like, huh, this outro sounds familiar, it's because I am spliced 3 games that I streamed at one time into 3 different posts. So I'm using the same outro. So if you're watching Locked Heart, hey, I just finished Locked Heart completely 100%ed it. If you've watched the Refraction demo, we tried out the Refraction demo, and that game is coming out later this year. And if you've watched us play The Beauty, which only the Beast knows, I actually don't know when that one's coming out. But that was the last demo we tried out. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely time. If you're watching this on YouTube, I stream on Twitch about 3 times a week. And if you're watching this on Twitch, as always, I upload all the VODs onto YouTube so you can check them out there later. But we just became affiliated, so they now last 14 days on Twitch. So we have longer to watch them on Twitch, which is great. And I love it. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye, Blue. Bye, Ray. Bye, Jay. Bye, Asia. There was other people who stopped by. I'm so sorry. I forgot everybody's names right now. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.